Hello. Well, look at that. We got a technical problem going here. Isn't this fucking just ducky, huh? What a bunch of bullshit. Every time I turn around, some technicality, some issue is cropping up on this technology. This fucking nuts. It's a good thing. Wow, we're not getting anything. Oh, you're right. I've been a parasite all my life. Get over it. Some of us are parasites, you know? Some of us are shit stirs. Some of us try to stable the pot as somebody stirs the shit too hard because they're really enthusiastic about it. You know, like a kid that doesn't know if he stirs the soup too hard, it's going to spill all over the kitchen floor. Mom has to point that out to him. Some of us are set up to give you a hard time. That's why we're here. It's God's stage. Each one of us has a part to play. Tenjo has to play the part this week because the producer sent the script to him. He's so just bored of everything. People are so stupid, and it's just crap, and you talk too long, and you're ranting. And how come I'm ranting and what you do is what you do? Couldn't you have been a little nicer to me, you little asshole? You little twerp, you fucking idiot? I mean, how come you rate what it is that you do and I don't rate what I do? But you had to call it labeling, you fucking stupid twerp. I don't know. But listen, the problem is I'm just greedy. I don't want just one part to play. I want to expand into all parts. I want to be your favorite person to pick on. Then when I've laid in wait for you and you think, and you have to be somebody new in here to do it. And I appear to be going on and on and on and stuff. And I seem to be a nice guy because I've created a vibe that is, the nice guy vibe, where I'm just talking to you normal, like in a normal kind of voice and that kind of stuff. And I start delivering stuff and I catch a newbie coming in here and they hear what I'm saying and they start tearing me a new asshole. They don't actually realize that I've just laid in wait to tear them a new asshole because I've gone beyond a true believer. I don't want to be a true believer. I'm a true seer. Okay, seers.us is our latest website to join the ThoughtBridgeNetwork.com family of websites. Seers.us. So I want to be a seer. Oh, Brother Tenjo left. I wanted to torture him some more. Yeah, I was trying to explain it. If he ever wanted to give up that role, I would take it over. There are no small parts, they say. You know? I mean, we've explained that it's an improv room, but the boys and girls are idiots. They don't get it. They can pretend to be assholes as improv when there really are assholes. And then they can lie about it and say they were just doing improv. A perfect cover. What better could you ask for? Not to be responsible for anything you say or do or dump on anybody and just say, oh, I was only fooling. I mean, that's fantastic. What other room can you come in and act like a total fucking jerk and not have any of it held against you, except that's not actually true because there's stupid fucking people in here that actually think that the improv artist is actually, that's the way they are and they're not acting. Because they should get Academy Awards, and that's the only way they'll believe that a person could act like that and do such great acting that they actually believe it, because they know what it's like to be a conditioned robotic human being. But he still might be lying. Oh, God. I can't get myself into that pickle. Oh my God, I want my people to be people so that I can criticize them, judge them, put them down, and say that's the way they actually are. Oh, take my judgment away from me and I'm fucked. Oh no, the whole world, that could spread to the whole world where everybody's just being God, different parts of God, the asshole part of God, the nice guy part of God, the sick person God, so you can have the nurse part of God, the unconditional part of a person who is God, the person who is a Nazi type of God, so that there can be a total interaction of God with God. Oh my God. I don't want to buy that. You can't make me believe that. That's not a real possibility. I'm not going to even think about that. I have other beliefs that throw all that shit out the window. There isn't anything you're saying that I'm going to accept or even believe. There is nothing there. I have my beliefs and I'm dug in for the rest of my life. God damn it. I don't want my furniture rearranged. I don't want my life shaken up. I want to stay as much as me as I can be until the very end, because I realize that in the end it doesn't make any fucking bit of difference. The rich die, the poor die, the sick die, the motherfuckers die. Everybody dies in the end. Everybody dies. Everybody gets a turn. So much for being smarter, better, a VIP, a president, a queen. Blah, blah, blah. They all fucking die. So do you, motherfuckers. How do you like me now? Oh, and I have to pay Music Man another $1 for using that line. Checks in the mail. I don't have to think about it. Who are you asking? Better yet, who's asking? Wow, Dr. BD Green finally contributed to our broadcast. Oh shit, you should give him some livetalkradio.com merit points. Redeemable for fabulous prizes. Nah, he's an asshole. No, you should, you know. I mean, the fact that he actually took the time to get on the mic and actually do that, I think he should be rewarded for that. Because, you know, otherwise he's just dead weight. We don't really need him, you know. But then if you do that, he'll get, you know, he'll start taking the mic more maybe. No, you don't want him to take the mic more. No, he makes a good troll, you know. And besides, you like bouncing them a lot. I don't know. Decisions, decisions, decisions. I don't know what to do about it. Well, neither do I. Well, are you going to answer Panacea or not? Nah, I haven't made up my mind yet. I'm not, remember, I'm not doing any thinking. You're the one that does all the thinking. I'll leave that to you. Well, let me think about it. I don't know. Are those the conditions? Could you say that again? What exactly am I thinking about? Could you be a little more concise? Well, I mean, like you're the one that talks up a storm and is obviously can talk as long as I do. So, that's not in doubt. And then the audacity of you to say, can you shorten it? But you still don't get it. You didn't pick up on the fact that I read the collective mind which you were plugged into. But I could say, well, no, I think it's his mic. Yeah. I don't know what he's doing, but yeah, it sounds pretty bad. Um, well, the audacity of somebody that can talk as long as I can to try to shorten it down to 10 words when I got it down to 4. And the audacity of somebody that actually thinks. What did you say about that when it came in? You said you had that thought that I should shut the fuck up, and it came in. You don't even are aware of the fact that the producing mind, I am in touch with the collective consciousness of the average Joe already. That thought came in and then it was fulfilled. You would call it synchronicity, but you don't realize there's somebody that's even more aware than you are of the higher levels. That's right. I'm the one that's more aware than you are. And I understand the collective. I listen to the collective. That's where Mr. Bridges comes from. When the ego disappeared and I was fried, fully baked, turned into a singularity, and then was returned, everything changed. Boy, have I got a story for you kids. I haven't even gotten started on my story. And you say, well, it's just a story. And I say, yeah, that's creation. Oh, no, that can't be creation. Well, it's as much creation as music, art, literature, stupid people, smart people, scientists, nurses, attorneys. It's all creation. You're fucking stupid motherfuckers. You don't get it. You're still into this choice crap. Well, I feel like making music today. Well, I guess I won't, and I'll just sit back and listen to some. Same difference. The giving and receiving, same difference. You're morons. There is no difference. Only your fucking ego is playing because it's allowed to play and pretend that it has choices. And it's doing something. And all it's doing is moving the beliefs around in this big mansion, thinking that it's actually accomplishing something. In my father's house are many mansions. You got one. You move the thoughts around. You move your beliefs around. But a chair, if you move it in a space where your mansion is, if you move it from one end of the room to the other, you still move the chair for a reason. Why do you have a chair? Huh? What's the purpose of a chair? You can have a cell phone or a telephone. What's the purpose of it? Hello? Why would you have a cell phone if you don't have any friends or you don't have any calls? Maybe you want telemarketing calls. Maybe you want to produce stupid comedy. Okay, that's why you have a phone. You don't really want to talk to anybody. You just want telemarketers to call you up so you can give them a hard time and make a lot of money on, stupid telephone entertainment. I don't know. Look at all the choices you've got. You can move this here and move that there, but the vibe behind where you're moving it, if you're actually plugged into the source isn't limited to one little thing. It doesn't mean the source sits around and wants to drool on itself, unless it does. There are people right now that are taking that role for you. You can join them if you want. You can join them. You can drool on yourself. You don't have to do a damn thing. Let me tell you something about the source. Everything is happening at once. Somebody's getting fucked. Somebody stubbed their toe. Oh, Jesus. Somebody just woke up. Somebody just went to sleep. Somebody just had a mouthful of food that spit it out because they heard a joke. Somebody, and all of those somebodies, many of them are so identified with the body that they think that the brain is where it's all happening. What a bunch of bullshit. The invisible is controlling fucking everything. So you don't want to give up the illusion of choice. Well, okay, then pretend you have choice. Pretend that you do have choice. That ought to satisfy, right? You don't want to see the fact that you don't really have any choice and you don't really know how it works and you don't know what's actually coming up next. Fuck you. You don't want to know that shit. You like your world the way it is, with scumbags and opinionated people. What would happen to your judgment if everything was fine? What would happen to your judgment if you didn't decide that this was better than that? And this was worse than that, and this was bigger and better, and this was too small, and this wasn't valuable enough. You'd have to go with the thought. It's the thought that counts. How many times have you gotten a gift from somebody you thought was ugly, shitty, crappy, and you lied to them? You said, "Oh, thank you very much." Well, on a different level, the one intelligence knows everything and gets a giggle out of that, Here you are trying to be nice, and you just want to be real. You have a yearning for real people, real situations, real stories. Like there is a real story. No, there's just stories. Oh, it's based on a real story. Oh, yeah, right. Like you can make a story into something that's real. Ha! Double entendre. Fucking oxymoron. The stupidity. We've now explained the rest of the universe. It's dark matter. 90% of the universe is made of dark matter. Oh boy, that solves the equation. Now don't you feel smarter? Oh yeah, sure. That makes me get the warm fuzzies all over. You know what I mean? What a bunch of fucking stupid people. God damn. And if it wasn't for stupid people, okay, and you know stupidity when you see it, because you're just smart enough to judge the shit out of what is God's and to say, well, they're stupid. So, are you smart enough to know how stupid you are? Are you that smart? Are you? You're stupid as all get out. It's a relative factor. No pun intended. Yeah, that means you're watching. Yeah, that's what it means. But you could actually join the broadcast if you have. I think you need a Google account, but I'm not sure. Hold on, I'll give you the live studio link. Not that you care, but if in case you want to check it out. I heard from somebody that you don't have to have a Google account to join the broadcast. There's, you have to have a Google account, I think, not a YouTube account. But I heard from somebody that somebody was able to come in that didn't have a Google account. So I'm not sure about that, but I just posted the live link that would bring you in to the live studio. What I've been doing lately is I haven't spent enough time working live talk radio, you noticed, because I couldn't do it and learn a very unuser-friendly program. And then I got stuck on the amount of hits that I was getting, you know. Not that it means anything, but I like seeing what's called in the program progress. I've gained followers. That's what they call it, followers. And I've created ThoughtBridge Village and a community on Google. And the TV part I like because I actually have a lot of people that I have in the studio that I used to share on Live Talk Radio and ThoughtBridge Radio, and now I can actually do TV, and it has a chat room. You can send private messages. You can mute someone's mic. You can turn off their camera. You can eject them from the room. You can take photographs of people. You can decide if somebody's talking, you want to have them show, or you can have them just there if their camera is on and show them listening to what you're saying. Or you can go automated where whoever's talking gets shown on the final finished product. It's quite an impressive thing when you consider it simplifies my work. If the computer crashes, the broadcast is online for 2 minutes after I leave the room and then cancels itself and is instantly playable from then on. So I never lose any broadcast material. I can do stuff that is different as night and day, playlists. I usually do a playlist, send it out, and then I have somebody. Oh, technical problems. Don't you love it? What a fucking pain in the ass. Okay, kids, technical problems. We're having more technical problems. By the way, I'm looking for an editor. I don't have time to edit this stuff. You know, just like a book editor, I need a video editor. Because you get what you get when you get it. No claim for anything. Some of it seems to be more entertaining. Some of it's not. But it's what I have to share. Why is it that I can't get any sound out of it? You son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. I can't get it to work. Okay. End of story. Well, we got 2 viewers here, but I can't seem to get the thing to work for me. That's a piss off. That fucking really sucks. I'm going to try it one last time to reestablish our connection. Try it again. Paltalk is one of the most unreliable programs I've ever seen in my life. It is amazing, utterly amazing that they can sell that shit to people. Honest to God. Now you can see his mic is on. You can see his mic on, but there doesn't seem to be any audio coming from him. Hello. Nothing. Isn't that something?
Said that last time as well.
Do I have audio? There we go. We reestablished audio. I've got audio, but I don't think you do. We've having a technical problem. We're broadcasting live, and if I don't fix it soon, I'm going to stop the broadcast. There's Music Man. Yeah. So he doesn't hear me, huh? Oh, he was just lying. Oh, that's normal for him.
You know what? Music Man is one of the most capable liars I've ever met on Paltalk. My hat goes off to him.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean, he even lies to himself about being like musically creative and stuff. I mean, he knows he's not musically creative. He's not creative at all. He's no musician. But he's good at lying and saying that he is.
And I make money.
Yeah, not much money though. You know, a few dollars a week.
I know, but it's at the point that I work my ass off, sweating my balls off. It's hot here. Tomorrow I'm playing a big biker bar, and then Saturday, and then Monday, and then back Thursday and Friday. And I got all this shit going on, and I got a blue name, and you got a green name, and you don't work. Who's smart? You. Who's smarter, me or you?
Well, obviously in this human story, me, because I'm not working and I've got a green name. I mean, I didn't even go to school and I'm more intelligent than you. So obviously I'm smarter than you right now. Just deal with it.
Everybody's smarter than me right now. Duh.
Well, least you're not an idiot.
Well, at least you're not an idiot. Well, the Bible says the last shall be first and the first shall be last, so I guess that takes care of that, doesn't it, kids?
Takes care of what?
I don't know. I came in to be entertained. I got to leave in like 5-10 minutes. I'm getting ready to go out. Can you entertain me for 5 to 10 minutes while I'm getting ready here? Are you busy? I know you're busy. You're busy over there, aren't you?
The most entertaining thing that's going to happen tonight is you leaving. So hurry up.
I want to tell you something. That hurt. Problem is, I got a daughter I got to have on stage with me, so I got to watch her all the time so they don't come up and grab her, throw her in the back of a Harley and run off with her. You know what I mean? It's not easy being me. You think it's fucking easy being me, pal?
Oh, well, I've got 3 daughters. So, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I mean, I'm very possessive and protective now. And they're only young. It seems the older they get, the more possessive and protective I get. But I guess that comes with the territory of being a parent, right?
Yes, it does. And I just want to say, it is a pleasure to see anybody from the UK today and talk to you. And I have to go on the side now, but it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure. God bless you. You're going to have to do one of your panacea talk for an hour routines because I think Joel just left or something.
Nah, Joel's sort of like lost in fucking cyberspace. He keeps like fucking about with his Google account and I don't know. You know what? Pal Talk is so fucked up and corrupt, right? Like there's this conscious insufficiency problem going on. What that means is that corporations and companies and businesses create products that have a specific lifespan. Like phones and fucking batteries and stuff, and they create this stuff with a very intended expiry date. When they know damn well they've got the technology to do a hell of a lot better, and it's all in the name of profit and stuff. So they'll make one phone and they'll just slightly adjust it a bit so it doesn't work properly, or it's not compatible, or it's not, whatever. And then everyone will be like, I want the next phone, yeah. And this is happening with all products now. Everything you get, everything you buy, it's like the shelf life, yeah. Sorry, the usage you get out of it. It's just not good, is it? And Pal Talk's the same, man. And it's pissing me off. I'm getting really bored of it. Anyway, it's late here, and I'm very tired. So I guess I'm on the side as well, because it's like 20 to 1 in the morning. So if I don't answer, it's because I fell asleep. But I'm not going to sleep yet, but if I don't answer, it's because I have fell asleep.
Well, Pal Talk seems to be a piece of shit. I don't understand why you guys can't be heard on my computer over here. Hold on. I'm going to get rid of this. Okay. I can't hear anything from you on this side channel on this computer. I've gone in and out of the room so many fucking times I'm dizzy. And I've been broadcasting Casting all this bullshit. Did I say bullshit? Oh, that's good. I don't know why I said that. Bullshit, bullshit. Oh, that's a good, nice variation. I keep coming up with new words, man. I think I've been hanging out with Leanne too much. She comes up with new words all the time. But I like new words. You don't think we're going to have to keep the same kind of words for another 100 years, do you? God, I like how the language gets modified, more confusing, more bullshit. Uh, just when you think you're learning some stuff, you find out it's all fucking bullshit. Which really points to the frequency that you're at, the state of awareness that you're at. So what if you have an ego? Who cares? That'll disappear right along with your body. The ego loves the body. It's a really good tool for it. Yeah. But I'm tired. I'm tired of this bullshit. We got enough. If you want to go down, I decided to do another broadcast after the other one. I decided to give up on it. So I've decided to give up on this one because it's not working. And that's why I left Pal Talk, because I couldn't deal with the learning curve and all the fucking software programs that have to work perfectly to work. And it didn't work very well on Pal Talk. And it really made it hard for when I added Google Hangouts. So I got 3,012 hits in a 24-hour period. So I thought that was good. And then the people that say, oh, well, you don't have any viewers and it's a little tiny room. It's a fuck you people. People are going to discover some real good stuff, especially when I get an editor. Because my shows are just, when I show up, whatever mood I'm in. Sometimes they're really good. Sometimes there's some really good stuff that happens. Not all the time. It's just like life. Some of it's exciting, some of it's not. I'm not here to perform for you guys all the time. It's that exciting shit. I don't make this up. It's all improv. And I like rest. I like getting coffee. I like going to the toilet. I like taking a shit. I have to pee sometimes. I have telephone calls. I have to take food orders. But in between times, yeah, there's some really interesting stuff. I'm not the one that orders that up. But you guys don't think that's producing. You're fucking idiots. Producing is deciding how long somebody talks for and maybe sometime injecting something else, ending somebody's bullshit, putting in some music, deciding how the flow is going, pursuing, perceiving the collective consciousness, and all that shit. People that don't know anything about it have no fucking clue. And most of the stuff we talk about in here, they don't have any fucking clue. They're fucking morons. And Panacea, I think somebody was saying how I shouldn't call the audience names. But I figure they like it. Don't you guys like to be abused and called names? Anybody that actually sees what I'm talking about isn't going to be affected by that at all. Not at all. They're going to find it funny. It's like, reminds me, I went to the self-transformation room with Edward Jones, and I thought, oh, surely I'll find some people that actually see what it is that I see. Oh, guess not, because I cracked self-transformation jokes that would have been funny to anybody that saw what I saw, but there wasn't anybody that saw what I saw. So then I realized we were in deep shit. There is less than 1% of the population, some guru I heard say, that actually, it's like, I don't know, what is 1% of 7 billion people? Wow. That means they're far and few in between, man. That means my audience is so fucking minuscule and so tiny. No wonder I've had to come up with all the extra bullshit to pad it. Kind of like cartoons. The Rocky and Bullwinkle show, if you remember that, it was written both for adults and kids. Only my audience are kids, actually idiots. There isn't anybody that gets the higher, sense of humor and all of that that's there. They just don't get it. That's why I have to appeal to the kids more than the adults. But now I've decided to set up a frame of reference. The frame of reference is 14-year-olds. They're the ones that the Nazis could get to do their bidding. I mean, why reinvent the wheel? My investigation has found out that the 14-year-olds are right in between boyhood and manhood, and they're making major decisions at the age of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 14 is right in the middle of that. So what we got to do is we got to slant our programs for the 14-year-old audience, okay, or that space of time I said, and fuck the adults because they're too far gone. If they haven't woken up by now, if they're over 30 or 40 or even 50, they're fucked. There's no way that they're going to wake up. I mean, not that they can't. I've heard some reports from various gurus and stuff that say people wake up on their, right on their deathbed. You know, I mean, I guess better later than sooner in some cases. You do your bullshit, then you finally say to yourself on your deathbed, you slap your head with the last strength you have, and you go, oh, shit, I could have had a V8. Yeah, well, you know what they say. Not everybody's into dying before they die. They don't even know what that means. Hey, Loch Ness Monster, welcome to the room.
There's no contrast in the totality, is there? What is the contrast in the totality? You might as well just say that good and evil are one and the same thing because they're completely codependent and they coexist. So even the pursuit of a utopia would seem like an epic failure because it's not even necessary. It's not necessary at all. Nor is having a villain in the story necessary. I mean, it might add a little bit of drama, but I'm sort of sure that people are more likely, or are more, they will move towards pleasure, contentment, peace, happiness, security than they will the drama, the unexpected, the unpredictable, and so on. Even though we think that that's just part of life and such, but we know what people want. We don't want the dramas, man. Yeah, we want the dramas that are not dangerous, but in here, I don't really class any of you lot as villains. This is like a safe kind of drama. We're all just playing with words and the big bad wide world. We don't do this out there. We can't do it. There's a time and a place to chat shit, and it's not out there. It's just not out there. It's a physical world. And villains are villains, and the good guys are the good guys, and sometimes you don't quite know if you're the good guy or the villain. Sometimes you're playing the part of the bad guy, then the good guy. Then you're playing the part of the observer who's trying to change for the other. What is there to do ultimately about any of this? Bollocks! We don't need no villains. I say peace and prosperity all the way. As fucking Dr. Spock would say.
I think that's the world is made of a yin and yang. I mean, when you see that little thing, the black and white ball with the yin and it's a positive and a negative, and they have to have something to push against. Joel would have no show if it wasn't for people like you and me to push against. If it wasn't, I mean, there has to be. It can't just be peace all the time, joy, harmony. Because it's not set up that way. It's not in the program. You want to deprogram? You want to just sit there in peace all day and play with your navel? Go ahead. Let me tell you something. Alan Watts. You quote Alan Watts. Did you know? And you're going to think I'm taking the piss out of you here, and I'm not. I'm coming from a place of love right now, okay? Did you know Alan Watts had a serious drinking problem? When I tell Joel that, he's like, oh, so? So what? Well, isn't it funny people with serious drinking problems always gravitate towards each other? Huh, imagine that. I think what Alan Watts says, I don't take anything he says seriously because he's coming from a disease point of view, in my opinion. Okay? There has to be something to push against. If we were all exactly the same and walked around going, peace, peace, peace. Somebody just put in the text, stupid. And I'm going to tell you, this guy is one of the dumbest dumbasses I have ever fucking heard on the radio, and he's saying that I'm stupid. I beg your pardon, sir. I beg your pardon.
Well, yeah, that's okay. Here's how it works. You're an ego, thinking you're a person, and you're listening to somebody who has given thousands of people a clue. And because he drinks alcohol, his words aren't true. You're like the little ego that looks at the book and the cover and you go, wow, that must be an exciting book to read. And you find out you've been scammed because all that excitement, the book review got shit. But it sold pretty good at first because of the cover, and you were one of the suckers that used your eyes and your logic. And you can't see that there have been entertainers like Robin Williams that does drugs. But we should discount the fact the man was funny and brought a lot of joy to people. A lot of people that were musicians or are musicians are drunks. But no, we don't see any creativity or any anything at all except a drunk. So that would be like, I don't want to listen to that music because somebody did it because they had an altered state of consciousness, and I know that alcohol is bad. You're a fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, I mean he's definitely a fucking idiot. His music man. I second that. Yeah, this is personal prejudice, you see. I mean, it's almost like because somebody speaks about something that you don't understand, it's bullshit. You see what I mean? You automatically assume it's bullshit because you don't understand it. You know, like if you were listening to some Chinese guy going blah, 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 you'd be like, well, I don't understand what you mean. But it's still a language. It's still a coherent language. Now, if you understood Chinese, if you understood it, you'd be like, I know what he's saying. It wouldn't just sound like blah, 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 blah. Well, you don't listen at all. You're not capable of listening. You're too much in your mind and your sense of pride and self and ego and intellect and all this other bollocks. So shut the fuck up! And I hope you don't make any fucking money when you go to your fucking biker's gig. I hope you get fucking raped up the arse by a couple of fucking hairy bikers. Yeah, alright, catch you later, music man. Take care, buddy.
All
Number one, I gotta get out of here. I'm like 5 minutes late. But listen to me.
right.
That stupid guy that talked before you, I don't know who he is, right? He's sticking up for all of his drunken ex-wives. He doesn't want to admit that he had dysfunctional relationships and he didn't get his needs met with them. He's had nothing but drunks in his entire life. And same with you. You people are fucking stupid. Stupid. I gotta go, stupid fucks.
Well, takes one to know one. Yep. That's what they say anyway. I think he's missing an essential point. It's like he would be the kind of guy that would go out if his friends recommended a book to him, and they would recommend the book because they're just as stupid as everybody else. And it gets 3 million copies sold in a month. It's on the New York Times bestseller list. He'd go out and get the book, and then if he didn't get it and didn't understand it, he would brag to his friends that it was an excellent because of his ego. He gets sucked right into it. The ego always has to know who said it, when did they say it, who they're associated with, whether they drank or didn't drink, whether they were on drugs or weren't on drugs. Oh, this shit's very, very much a defense against actually hearing what is the truth that's around them all day long. So they actually live in La La Land and don't even know that they're defending themselves against what they could see if they wanted to, but they don't. For some reason, the ego feels threatened to discover it's a fiction. Isn't that interesting?
Not really, no.
All right. Well, I'm being told the production is over. You had to go anyway, right? Music Man came in. We had a few yucks with him. Time and space is worthless. Dr. B.D. Green is worthless. They contribute nothing. For people that think you have to have other people in a room and a bigger room is a better room, fuck them. They don't contribute anything. We don't need that. We have an audience on the web. They can make fun of the fact that there's nobody listening. But the fact of the matter is it's archived. It will be discovered either today or years forward. Yeah, and the information will get out there one way or another. They're fucking idiots. We don't need them. Anyway, thanks for participating in our broadcast. Maybe at some point you'll get a Google account and you can join us. And if I can manage it with the least number of technical problems, which seem to always crop up when I try to do both the Pal Talk Room and the radio audience and Google, I don't like it. I right now am feeding through a speaker to let the broadcast hear it through a speaker. Rather than directly, it's going through a speaker. Now that's a sad fix, because that really doesn't make the audio very good. So you may see me again. The room may open. It may not. If people don't come in fast enough, I just leave. And humans are designed that they come into a room and they don't see anybody in the room and they want instant gratification. It doesn't even occur to them to leave their nick in the room, which I've asked them to do to support the room. They don't even leave the nick in the room when they could and go to another room, because I have to go by what's going on. And I go by the number of people that might be in the room. Then I decide there's some mouths in the room that might make it interesting to do a broadcast, and then I start up the broadcast. But most of them are idiots. I've told this to them over and over. They don't get it. And because they don't get it and they don't care to get it, I don't even bother with the room most of the time. I've put on my nick shows about to start PM me. Nobody bothers to do that except a few people. Not enough to make it worth opening the room, so I don't open the room. So evidently they're either fucking idiots or they don't fucking care, and if they don't care, I don't care. Simple. I can do my thing and get my warm fuzzies out of doing my thing on Google. I don't need Pal Talk at all. Sorry. You folks are just cutting your own throat. You don't even get to troll because the room's not open. You know? How fucking stupid can you get? Yeah, just like BD Green. The only thing he's good for is to troll. And then he throws insults like, oh, kick me out, I want to be kicked out, which reminds me, I haven't booted him out yet. I want to do that before I close the room. BD Green, would you like to be bounced? Sure you would. All right, we'll fuck him over. All right, here goes. Well, he got to say yes. So there you go. You got fucking idiots like that, and then you got idiots like Music Man. He believes that you got to have something to push against. Well, that's good. I also liked your point of view. What happens when you start waking up is you realize even the assholes are you. They're a former part of yourself. But that's not the part you look at. You just accept it all. Doesn't mean you can't. You got to watch out for when they take a poop. You don't want to step in it. If they swing at you, you got to move out of the way, but you don't have to be nasty about it, you know. Doesn't mean you have to get angry or do the revenge thing or any of that shit. Now, I was just explaining that to Nano today. We had a little interesting talk. When I first came back from my experience, I was under the belief that nice guys finished last. So you got to pretend not to be a nice guy, because nice guys finish last. If you don't put up the program the way they're used to the program, if you don't put them in their place, you give them an inch, they'll take a mile. No wonder nice guys finish last, because it looks like they get taken advantage of, and they're walked all over, and they lose their stuff, and they're scammed and taken advantage of. But once you get to really understand how it works, and you really have an understanding of how it works, you don't have to put up a front. That's what happened when I decided February 8th to stop being a human. You see, a human being could be said as being human. Being is what I am. It doesn't say what I am. It doesn't say if I'm even human. I'm being. I'm space. I am. And then comes the add-on of being human. And that's really interesting because the human being is a program. It's conditioning, it's thinking, it's judging, and believing it's a human when there isn't any such thing. That's just a matter of opinion. It's a story, and it's part of creation. It's part of creation, and you can see it as part of creation, but if you believe it, you're believing a lie.
Well, you know what it is, Joel? I mean, I don't know if you're going now, I don't know if you can hear this, but I'll say it anyway until you do what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, I've typed there, being human is hard work. It is, right? It's hard, especially when you're trying to please everybody. You know, people like Mooji say, no, you don't need to love. You don't need to. Yet the principal foundation of the whole fucking lecture or speech he gives is based on love. Based on this, you know, dropping of the ego and using this body in a very particular way rather than just in a reactionary way. You know, do things consciously, which I guess only happens when you're not doing anything at all, which again goes back to reactionary things, where you're not thinking. So it kind of makes no difference, you know? When you're wide awake in a world that sleeps, what is there to do? Who is there to convince? It becomes a playground. That's all that happened for me. It became a playground. It wasn't taken seriously. Sometimes me and Debbie get into a confrontation. Now, before, when we used to get into heated arguments and debates, I would be on the receiving end of an ego. She'd be on the receiving end of my ego. It'd be a battle, locking horns, blah, blah, blah. But if that happens now, I find myself laughing. And she thinks that I'm laughing. You know that cosmic giggle you get? She thinks I'm laughing at her. So she's still all ego. And I'm like, you just don't realise, Debbie, you just don't have a fucking clue. Because I'm not seeing it as an ego battle. I'm in a playground of my own making. But like I said, if you're wide awake in a world and everybody's sleeping, especially in a physical way, not on Paltalk. I hate using the example of Paltalk because it's, you know, there's a lot of the communication part is taken out just in the fact that it's only a verbal sort of interaction. But when you're physically around people, you live with them, and you know there's things to do, and there's all this different stuff going on at once. The guru suggests, and this is just in my opinion, the guru suggests that we switch off. We don't switch off from the daily engagement of life. That's impossible because we are the very physical construct of life. So trying to do that is pointless. So drop that, forget it. But we switch off through ego only, through self-identity. That's it. If you can switch that off and get rid of that, it can flow. And there's nobody to judge. There's no reason to judge. There's nothing to gain at the end of it. So like before, it was I have to win the argument. I've got to be right. I've got to, you know, fulfill my sense of pride and honour, and I've got to come out on top. You know, like a competition. And that's what life is. It seems like it's a big competition. Everybody's in competition with everyone else. Business people, people are competing for sexual partners and for wealth and, you know, competition, sports, you name it. But where there's no ego, there's no competition. So now you're between worlds. You know what I mean? You're partially engaged with ego because ego still exists, but you're not because you think your ego's gone and all that kind of shit. Does it matter? Does it matter when you see it all as one? But you have to see it all as one. You know, like I said, being human is hard. That's a lot of burden. The being part is easy. Anybody can just be. But realizing it and you know, just thinking about it intellectually are two different things. Spend all your life fucking, you know, like how the mind just comes in. We've spoke about this before. The mind just comes in, and some mad crazy question comes up. You know, what the fuck is all this? And that's the being human part. That's when it gets complicated. But then the beingness always overrides that, because the beingness is there, even though the human bit's there. They coexist just like everything else, like air and rain and lungs and eyes and light, and you know. So now there's not even a prejudice towards this being human or being God. You know, oneness fucking means oneness, really. And if you're aware enough, you'll not miss a single thing. It will be exposed in some circumstance, some situation, some feeling of guilt, some feeling of loss or fear. It will be exposed. The truth has to be exposed in the oneness. So whether you think you're talking to me or not now is irrelevant. You could sit here all day long, but you'd have to be thinking as a human being to imply any kind of separation. But what's wrong with that? If God is an expression of all things, and we're talking as humans here, if God is an expression of all things, then God is also an expression of being human. So if you're going to do it, be a good human. If you're going to be a good comedian, find some good fucking jokes. If you're going to be a good actor, do your best at acting. Why not? You know, if you know the truth sets you free. Who does it set free? There we go, we're being human again, asking questions, implying separation. But it's contextual to its own means. You know, it can't surpass what it is, regardless of its position or perspective or whatever. But anyway, this was a bit of a long-winded rant here, and obviously you're gone now, aren't you? So, no, I was going to go to bed actually, Joe, but I'm not now. I was going to go to bed, then I've realised actually it's only 1:15. I normally stay up till about 5. But you know, like you just sometimes get a little tired spell. You think, I think I'll have a nap, and now it just went away. Gone. So I had this instant plan based on me going to sleep and waking up at a certain time, and now that plan that I had formulated very quickly in my head has just collapsed. It's disappeared, and something else took over.
Yeah. Cool.
Everything. And I realised at that young age, it's like, wow, I'm listening to myself. And that listening to myself got more and more concentrated as this unfolded or emerged. This listening to myself, observing myself, looking at myself through music, through sounds, through echoes, through voices, through interaction of any kind, sensory interaction, mental interaction, whatever, physical. And this whole experience, this merging, this fragmentation that we call life, mind, is not just an appearance of God, but it's an experience of God. You know, now I could say this to anybody else and they might laugh and say, what the fuck are you talking about? But you're there, Joel. You're right there. Because where you are is where I am right now. And we're very familiar with this. Now, if you're going to start leaning towards being more human and asking questions and getting confused and scared, then you're playing the part of being scared and being human very well. But the truth underpins even that. And you know that, Joel. The truth underpins this being of human, this physical form. and all the attributes and qualities of the human being, the self, the ego, the mind, the construct of reality that we have. Right now, I can say with 100% clarity, there is only God. And that's it. If that means something to you, fair play. If it doesn't, fair play. Makes no difference. So yeah, there is only God. And you can change the words. You can throw in your own opinion. You can rearrange it to how you like to speak it, say it, feel it. Tell me how you experience it. It's still God. Whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, whether my babies are happy, whether they're not. Once you see this, that's it. That is it. But it's not it for God. It's just it for the ego, the separate journeyman that was searching, that was looking for something, that was hoping for something, that wanted something. God is that journey. God is that journey of being human. And all the sensations attached to being human and embodiment and everything else. You know, and you might say, well, this is a lovely story, Panacea. Yeah, perhaps it is, but it's God's story. And there's nothing you can do about that. And it doesn't matter if you realise it or not, nor if these 14-year-old kids realise it. Because it's still God in the not realising it. You see what I mean? This is the totality, man. I mean, this is it, baby, this is it. But that burden of having to do something here, once that's gone, holy shit, infinity just opens up. Oh, it fucking does. But it did for me. And this is my experience, Joe. I can only tell you my experience. And obviously, my experience is part of your experience now. Or whatever you want to call it. So it's obviously profound and all there is. But yeah, don't mark my words or anything. Don't mark my words. There's no need for that. But shit, you just can't tell this to anyone. You can't just walk up to anyone and start saying this shit. Do you know what, Joel? Did you hear my story about me talking to my sister about this? Did I ever tell you the story? Because we were talking, well, basically, I was at my sister's house. Oh, I did. And when did I tell you? Oh, well, anyway, right, my sister is not into metaphysics, right? She's not into any of this. And one day I went up to her and I said, who are you? You know, just having a chat with her. I went, who are you? And she went, oh, I'm Danny. So that's her name, Danielle. And she went, I'm Danny. I went, no, remove that label. Who are you now? And she went, well, I'm a human. I went, no, get rid of that one as well. Who are you now? And she went, well, I'm just here. I went, no, get rid of all of that. And there was a silence. For a brief moment, few moments, there was a silence. And I said, that's who you are. I said, that's who you are right there. And for a moment, it looked like she got it. Because she sort of looked at me as if to say, yeah. But then she just switched back into the program instantly. And she went, oh, well, yeah, whatever, yeah. And she went on about her business, and that was it. Yeah, I could have said that to somebody else, and they might have got it. It might have stuck, you know,
Yeah.
struck a chord. Hey, you still up? So some people, it's
Who's
not
this?
supposed to ever be seen.
Huh?
So try to target people. And say,
I can't hear you. Hold on.
I want you to see this.
Who? Oh, yeah, come on down. Right in the middle of a show. Yeah, you up for it?
It's not something you have an influence over. Not even if you know yourself to be God. You wouldn't want to influence it if you knew you were God. Why would you want to influence it? Because as the power itself, there's no need to influence it because you are it. So your influence is it, and what is influence is it. So you see, now there's no need to tell anybody or to convince or you know, or to do anything about it, which again opens up this whole new realm. Now I'm not stuck with the burden of having to do that. Now I can be myself as God, as human, as this character, as that character, without the pressures, you know, like a salesman. And this salesman's got to hit certain targets and all this other shit. And it's like, if he doesn't do it, his bosses are going to get upset and angry, so he's frantically going about his business, doing his, you know, going from door to door, trying to get his sales. And often he doesn't enjoy his job because of this stress, this displeasure of rushing around, and, you know, I'm supposed to enjoy my job, but I don't because there's too much pressure. Well, you're supposed to enjoy existing, being, without the pressure, without all this egotistical attachment and all the other shit. It's completely unnecessary. And the gurus all point to the same thing. Oh yeah, no need to change anyone, nor is there any need to convince anybody that we're all one. But, you know, if it's what you do, you know, I always say, right, there's certain people that have an excellent, awesome message, but they deliver it in the wrong way. Now, Christoph is a good example. I don't know if you've been, you know, Realise to Actualise. I don't know if you've been on his website, but he's got a lot of good stuff on there. Really poignant, profound stuff. I don't know how much of it is his or what he's got from other people or what. There's some good stuff on there, and his message is crystal clear about living in the now, but his delivery is awful. His delivery is appalling. And I pointed this out to him. And again, it's similar to how we conduct ourselves in life. You know, if we want something, if we deliver it the wrong way, it's not received. You know, if you want to put out love, you don't swear at people, you don't hit them, you don't be abusive towards them, you don't demean them, you know, in an egoic sense. But if you want to put out love, you deliver the love as pure as you can. And you base it on the reaction of the person. You base it on the reaction. Don't say to yourself, am I being loving enough? You'll know if you're being loving enough based on the reaction of the other person. Because love itself is pure. It's like the innocence of a child. It doesn't matter how tainted one's mind is, or whether it's excitable or it's, you know, behaving in an erratic way. It could be a criminal, it could be a politician, it could be anyone. Love is love when it's felt, as pain is pain, and so on and so on. So yeah, this tendency to convince other people that, you know, we're all awareness and we're this and we're that. And it's like, well, why do the gurus do it then? Why does Mooji sit on that pedestal? He's got 500 people sat around him on the floor, and he's telling everybody what it's all about and all this kind of shit. Well, we're not going to blame Mooji. I mean, you're going to Mooji, right? He's not dragging you here. He's not dragging you to the satsang in a fucking chain, you know, ball and chain. Get over here, sit down and listen to what I've got to say. No, you've got to want to see it. You know, this is a conscious engagement. Whether it's through suffering or hardship or, you know, realization of the fear of mortality or whatever. It doesn't matter, man. The truth still underpins everything. God still is the foundation of everything. And that foundation doesn't crumble. It doesn't crumble. I imagine it like a city. A city can rise and fall, and cities have risen and fallen. Egos rise and fall, bodies rise and fall. That which doesn't rise and fall, the totality, the whole thing, the essence of it all, that's God right there. And that's very silent. It's very silent. It doesn't say anything. It's completely unbiased. It's not prejudiced in any way, because its expression is black and white and green and blue and fat and rich and poor and, you know, all the contrasts and this and that and everything else. So we know in of itself it's never biased. To realize that truth, then you're free. It's not, you don't learn it. No, you might learn how to be a carpenter, you might learn how to be a good physicist or astronomer, but you don't learn this. You only realize it because it's the truth. And that's it, and the truth sets you free. So all these, you know, statements and all this shit that we read in the Bible and the Buddha and Krishna, and it's all the same message from the same energy, from the same source, going back to the same source, i.e. you, me, these identities, these masks, these personas. What is there to do here? Honestly, what is there to do? This is a playground, so don't play.
Yeah. Well, he's not in the broadcast with us, but we're hearing him. Unfortunately, I've had to make a little adjustment here so that people can hear him. Yeah. Welcome to My Story has left the room. It seems that we have technical issues. We have an inability for Pal Talk and the broadcast to be up with no audio from the other room. So we're doing the best we can to compensate. It's like having a plane with two engines, and one of the engines went kaput. And so we're still flying, but we're not flying with full power. We're flying with half power, and we're limping along. A little degradation in the audio because it's going through a speaker instead of the way it's supposed to come through here. Let me check and see if. Let me check back. It seems to be working. Say something, Artie.
Hello.
Oh, okay. Well, we got good audio here. We're picking you up pretty good too, so far.
How much of a lapse in time?
Okay, smile. Fake it. Okay, more fake smiles. All right, let's look really happy. All right. Oh, that wasn't happy. This is happy. Yeah.
Tonic. This is a fine line.
Yeah, fine line. Yeah, we just took some photographs. I don't even hear the snap of the shutter anymore. But anyway, we got Artie joining us live in the studio here. And we've had so many technical problems. I'm surprised I haven't ended this broadcast just because of the technical problems. I don't like the fact that we can actually keep it alive is amazing. But hey, what the hell? Had some good things to share. Yeah, well, there was only one exception I made to the rule. You said there was this and that. You're still referring to people. You see, if you're really talking about it and you want to be clear and not sound inconsistent what you're saying, every time you make an observation of somebody else, to take us back to the fact that you are observing yourself, and then you say that part of yourself isn't doing it right and part of it is doing it wrong. What you're doing is you're still indulging in the right and the wrong and the yin and the yang and all this stuff. One of the biggest problems that I have, like Mooji made a concession. Okay, I've asked the same question. Why is Mooji sitting up on a throne? Why is Mooji elevated above everybody? Why does he have the napkin? Why does it look like he just had, a half a dozen, have it your way Big Macs or whatever they are, What's the story with the beads and the photos and all that? What's the story with people that profess that it's about the realization, not a big church, a big thing? Well, you know what? That's to attract the ego. It's a trap. So is the secret law of attraction a trap. Okay, figure it out. You've heard that bullshit long enough. Okay, what they say is seek you first the kingdom of heaven, but they use the word vortex. Seek ye first the kingdom of the vortex, and they say it, go to the vortex. That's the same fucking thing, okay? Go to the vortex. go to the kingdom. Okay? I mean, come on. Doesn't matter how you describe it, it's still pointing to the same fucking thing. What are you, morons out there? So what they have is they have the show for the ego to suck the ego into something, and that's why Jesus said, follow me, you'll become fishers of men. Hello? So you say there's nothing to do and no place to go and nothing to do. Hey, listen, you're here. You can be a musician. You can take time out. You can drop dead if you want. You can spoil the opportunity to be the flow for God and all that love. And then you say that, you know, you can't be nasty or whatever. You ever hear of tough love, my friend? You know, what I like is you suggest stuff to me, and I go, yeah, well, that's interesting. And then I say stuff to you, and then you can jump on my case because I'm a nasty son of a bitch. I'm a bastard. I'm a prick. I'm a cunt. Didn't you notice that? I give people a slap in the face. I go tit for tat. I know the ego because I'm dealing with it. I'm living with the ego. My ego is your ego. Hello? My ego is your ego. That's where we're one. We're one in the ego. We recognize the ego. We're also one in the spirit. It's not this or that, my friend. It's this and that, and it coalesces into the whole. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. You can't do it right. You can't do it wrong. It just simply is. Now, if you take away the illusion of choice and all this bullshit that's going on, that means that you've smoked yourself fucking straight, just like you said. I just used a different phrase, smoking yourself straight. Certainly you've had some really good weed where you got straight. You smoked yourself straight, okay? You see all the bullshit, you smoke yourself straight, okay? And then you realize it doesn't make any difference, and yes, I agree with the fact that you are set free. You are set free knowing that essentially you can't do it wrong because unless you're one of God's little helpers and should-mates where you should do this and you should do that and really you would be better off, you don't know what is best for somebody. Alan Watts has got a great example of a monkey that says to the fish as he finds the fish beached on the shore, he says, oh, you poor little thing, here, let me help you, as he takes it up and stuffs it up in a tree. Okay? You don't know what is right for other people. You only know what is right for yourself, and even that self might be an illusion. If you lose that illusion of yourself, what is right doesn't have to be right or wrong. It is what it is. It shows up, and if you've done it right, you've gotten this little self out of the way and all the fucking programming that you created for a self to do business in a reference point, a position in the universe, then if you take a position of being human, you are going to be living among humans, which then can give you an identity because you're not that person, you're not that person, you're not those qualities, you're not that vibration. You know what you're not when you see it, but you also don't realize, possibly, I'm not speaking to you, you idiot, I'm speaking to and I'm not speaking to the choir, although maybe I am if they want to add something, I'm speaking to 14-year-old Jimmy. The fact of the matter is, as you get rid of that sense of self, which is a fiction, and that's all it is, as you make space, as you take this shit out of your mind and you say, well, I don't really need that, I'll toss it out. I'll toss that out. Muji said that. It comes in, you toss it out. Now, the ego is earth-based. It's earthbound. It's in a position as playing a human being. It has stuff. If you take it away from me, I go, wah. You thief, wah, you're not very nice, wah, and all of that. But you see, all that shit's going to go bye-bye anyway, okay, either now or later. All of it goes bye-bye. It's called attachment. It's attachment to your position, attachment to your fucking beliefs, attachment to all that fucking shit, okay? And that shit prevents you from actually being. Being what? Well, what's being? Well, I don't know. You just need a few add-ons, and then you can call it this, and you can call it that, and then you can subdivide it, and then you can multiply it, and you can, you know, oh my God, you come up with numbers to express. You can come up with forms and art and literature, and all that's blown to the wind. All of it's to be enjoyed as it is happening and unfolding, which is the most amazing thing in the world when you're free just to enjoy every bit of it. And then it even gets more complex, and more complex, and more complex. And then you get to start thinking about what other people are saying. Oh, Mooji said this. Oh, then it must be right, because he has thousands of followers. Oh, that's the way to go. That guy knows what he's talking about. Sure he does. He knows as much about what he's talking about as anybody else fucking knows what he's talking about. But hey, that's the game. The only game in town is to discover yourself, to discover God. Come home. Be the prodigal son that returns, and the Father is waiting for you. You're only left in your dreams anyway, you stupid motherfuckers. Welcome to the room, you know. Oh, it's live, and it's also live on Google, and it's live on YouTube. Oh, it's live all right. You can join us in our live Google Hangout studio if you'd like, just by going to www.thoughtbridge.tv. If you can't find it from there, you're a fucking idiot. Not that you'd want to go there anyway. So that was the only exception that I saw, the flaw in what you were talking about. It looked like almost you were talking that everything was flowing great. Most of that stuff was pretty good. That was the only thing that caught my attention. Not bad, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I weren't really looking to get attention. Whether I did, or you know, whether I achieved that objective of just being, again, wasn't necessary, because I just am anyway. So I didn't really need to deliver it, did I? It was kind of delivered anyway in this moment, in the presence of it, whether it was judged, whether it was good from your point of view or my point of view. It doesn't matter, does it? You've said it there. The message. If there's a conscious eye,
This fucking program's a fucking pain in the ass, man.
You're either going to see it or you're not.
I'm having to broadcast him through this speaker.
You'll see it everywhere, in everything, in everyone.
That's the problem.
On the floor, or whether it's fucking, you know,
makes it hard for us to talk.
Now, I don't give it any less value because it comes from you. It comes from Mooji, whether my daughter says something to me that's very profound, and oftentimes it's people who are not even slightly into any of this shit, who are not bloated egos, who are not out to impress people intellectually, spiritually, who have the most profound impact. You know what I mean? It's when you're not expecting it. I think that's why a lot of people, like you said, you know, they go to satsang, and it's a very religious setting. Like you said, the beads, the candles, the sort of spiritual music, the guy wearing all the loincloth and all this, almost looking like Jesus, big beard. And it's like, yep, suck them in, make it look like a big event, and once we've got them in, then we can start getting them thinking, who are you? You know, blah, 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 and all that kind of shit. So it's a good technique, it's a good tactic. But again, what do they point towards in the idea of awakening? They point towards the idea of, if we remove the ego, we, you know, remove the idea of separation and boundaries and all this other shit that imprisons us, then we can all live together in peace and harmony, which is how it should be. We can flow with nature, fucking flow with each other, without all this other shit getting in the way. So when we walk out of satsang, I would assume that the guru is very aware of this, that what he's saying is going to have a profound impact on who you think you are, how you behave in this physical world, blah, blah, blah. And if you're in touch with that divine source, then you won't do wrong. Because it's natural that if God is love, and the closer you are to God, the more loving you'll be. You want to know how close you are to God right now? Ask yourself, how fucking forgiving am I? How loving am I? How giving am I? Ask yourself all these fucking questions. You'll know how close you are to God. And if you're miles away from doing any of those things, then you're nowhere near fucking God. God's just an intellectual fucking bunch of shit in your mind. So don't kid yourself. That's the whole point. Don't fucking trick yourself.
Any choice.
It's not like pulling the fucking wool over your own eyes. You know? You'll know if you've got good intentions. You'll know if you mean well. You'll know if you're out to fuck people over. Why you try to fucking key over me, Joel, you fucking slimy bastard? Have you seen this cunt? He's fucking locked his mic on. Dirty I'm going to say what I got to say. I'm not going to fucking listen to anybody else. That was a crap impression of Joel, wasn't it? Have you seen the desperation there, look?
You fucking asshole, I didn't try to key you. I was just enlarging the text so the people on the broadcast could see it. See, you slimy little judgmental fucking bastard, thinking things that you would have done. That's what you would have done. Yeah, fuck off is right. You fucking hypocritical piece of shit just like me. No, I didn't queue up. Artie, did I interrupt him?
Nope.
No, you didn't. You didn't even tune into the broadcast. If you tuned into the fucking broadcast, it's live on YouTube, you would have seen that, you stupid fuck. Fucking, you're a perfect example of how the fucking ego, some realized fucking asshole guy you are, you loving piece of idiot shit. Idiot shit?
Fuck Artie too on that.
Yeah, fuck Artie too. Yeah, now the thing is, some of these people have a clue that they know that we're just as loving as ever, even though we're calling you a piece of shit. What makes you think you can sit around and decide that we can't play? You don't realize in the future, the meek inherit the earth, and they're all glued to the old days where people were actually mean and nasty and killed and raped and murdered and pillaged people and caused genocide, and they wish the old days would come back, you motherfucker. You think the future is full of a panaceic fucking utopian fucking universe? You just wait until you wake up 1,000 years from now and you're going to regret ever even projecting that thought, you moron. Have I called you an idiot? How many is that anyway? He counted up to 49. He said, I was doing wrong. 49 idiots I called. Well, wait a minute. It wasn't just him. Was it just you or was it everyone? If it was everyone, it wasn't so bad. But anyway, anybody that's listening to this is a fucking idiot. I don't even know why. I'm not listening. Fuck that. Fucking bullshit. Oh, it's got to be 70 or 80 by now. At least. Fucking idiots.
$60 in a room, huh?
Huh?
60 in a room, but better?
No, I said I used 60 idiots.
Alright, well, maybe I made a mistake. I don't know, because I was actually looking on the YouTube video while you were talking, but there's a 20-second lag, and it looked like you were keyed up. Now, does it matter if I say sorry right now? Because it's all in the past, right? Am I just, like, hanging on to the past and attaching to the non-existent, the illusionary? Yeah, exactly, so it makes no difference. Well, some people do care. If you're a person and somebody hurts you, and then somebody comes along and says, I'm sorry, surely a sorry is a good thing. Because it kind of wipes the slate clean, doesn't it? You know, imagine I've done something wrong to somebody and they're not quite where I am. They don't quite realise the truth. And they're all ego. Maybe I've got to do what Moody does.
Where did my camera go?
Set up a certain kind of setting, environment.
Oh my God, look at that.
Ego.
It
So
threw it out of the room again.
I'm sorry for doing that.
Another Nick.
You know, I can maybe suck them in the more loving I am.
What a bunch of fucking bullshit.
So I think that makes sense.
That means we've been on the cams, because if that goes down, the screen share goes down,
and they get their
there is nothing to share, so it goes back to us. So we've been on since that whole thing went down. You see, I'm not getting the audio from that room because it's not the way it's set up. I haven't run it this way. Getting it through the speakers, I mean, it's loud, it's obnoxious. You know, it kind of sucks. Now, if he's actually listening to it, he'll see this 50 seconds later.
Yeah, well, I'm not buying this bullshit of, oh, who cares, who cares? Does it matter, does it? Well, it does matter, doesn't it? You know, why do you run a homeless shelter, Joe? Why do you accept transients and poor people and druggies and all these people into your house? There's something cares, doesn't it? It doesn't matter if it's Joel that cares, or energy, or God that cares, or God using a Joel as energy that cares. Something
Really?
seems to give a shit about people's
Really?
misery
Upstairs?
and suffering, whether it's egoic suffering,
Upstairs in Nano's
physical
bathroom?
No, upstairs in the bathroom
drug abuse.
of my
fucking-
right outside of
Oh,
the
yeah, that's not upstairs. That's like
government
the
okay.
almost the
Bottom line,
Well, I
first
didn't
floor.
know if you, I didn't think you
Some
allowed drinking
people
in here, so I don't
might
know.
believe
Well, I
themselves
don't,
to be
but I mean, as the
messengers
director,
from God.
you get away with it, you know.
People, and
I don't know.
people
I don't know. Was
and
drinking
need
that?
to, change
Go on,
the world.
mate.
And there's nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah, it's probably Leanne or
I mean,
somebody,
let's
you
be
know.
honest. What other reason?
No, the people can
fundamentally
drink
really find
in their
this?
space. They're not allowed to, but
Surely
they
if
can
you
drink
just
in
go
their
on the premise of
space.
nature, then yes, you're going to
They
do a
must
bit
be
of,
chastised severely if they're caught. But you know, if you're in
you're gonna eat
space,
some
nobody to
you're going to talk
tell
about
you you
shit that you're
can't.
gonna
You know,
die.
what the fuck?
But at least, you know,
It's just
on
that in
that
the
journey,
communal space, there shouldn't be any
hold the door
dope,
open for someone.
booze,
Be
drugs.
kind to your fellow beings.
But then if
Well,
we're all there, we
essentially,
lock the
all
doors
you
and draw the
need,
shades, we can make an
So that
exception,
makes
right?
more
Right,
sense.
okay.
Because
Because in that way, then we won't have the public come in,
Serving
but we don't keeping the doors
Not many
locked
people
right
know
now,
that,
so it's
yes.
not a problem.
Yeah, that's right.
But then we
Serving
have to
other
cover the
people,
windows because
serving
you don't want a
yourself.
cop there and you're going, here, you know.
If you serve other
I don't want any
people,
questions going on.
No, I
expecting
don't like
some
that.
kind of return or reward,
That's why I'll let you
then
know.
that's the biggest bunch of ego bullshit ever.
Oh,
You
yeah.
never get any kind of reward in that way. If you serve unconditionally, then, the rewards are massive. But they're not rewards to ego, you know, because what does the ego want? It wants praise, it wants affirmation, it wants to be boosted up, it wants to look bigger and better, like a peacock spreading its feathers, wants to show off, wants all this credit. Well, truth doesn't need credit, does it? Because truth speaks as the example of ego and its downfalls and its neediness. So, yeah, those 10 words, man, those 10 very important words. Know the truth, for the truth will set you free. Don't ever forget that, Diana.
Oh, let's lay the big one on them. The ego won't get it at all. Because that's why I get so many donations. They don't get it. They don't understand it. That's why the perfect PR is Mr. Bridges. It tells the audience they're cheap motherfuckers. The little pricks don't even know what giving is, and is please donate at thoughtbridges.com. And that is the absolute opposite of what you're supposed to do. What you do is you kiss ass, thank all the viewers for being patrons and listening and making your show as big as it is. Okay, and then you reward them by sending them emails that look like they were written personally thanking them for their donation, which encourages them to do it again. And then you praise them in the room so that everybody knows that Diana Victoria once, 2 years ago, contributed $60 and hasn't contributed a single dime since. And that Joyful once sent me a keyboard and contributed $60 and has never sent me anything since. And then I have to thank, let's see, what's his name? The Red Snail, for making small contributions for the last couple of years, but then set me up for weeks in saying he was going to send me a silver coin and then $35 instead, and then decided to renege on the deal. The South Buddha that said he was going to send $200 2 years ago and wanted favors about becoming an admin, and he never sent the money, and I've ribbed him about it. And I love doing that. I love tearing people a new asshole and also showing how fucking phony it is. Now, here's what's real giving. Here's what's real giving. And there's a bunch of other people I won't mention, but the ones I picked on can take it, I'm sure. Real giving has to do with the fact that God tells you there's a need. And the giving that you give, when you actually give from God, there's nobody to give it. There's no person involved. Now, this is only for you guys that have reached the level of 10. not 1 or 2 or 3. Most of you are hanging out at 1 or 2. Real giving is the fact that you aren't the one that's the giver. The one that's the giver is the Holy Spirit. Or you could name it love itself, the supplier of the whole universe that loves everything that is right there. And if the Spirit leads you to give, that's true giving. And what do you get out of it? You might not even get a thank you. What you get is the fact that what you have manifested and plugged into is the gift itself, which is more valuable than gold. More valuable than gold. And yet the same time that you're giving what is a symbol of supply, you are acknowledging where your true supply comes from. And this you can't fake. You can't fake it. You can't give to get. There's no way. Otherwise, all it is an ego giving something to make itself feel better. And if it doesn't get a thank you or an acknowledgement, it says to itself, well, a lot of good that did. I'm out $60. Wonder why I contributed. What could have gotten into me? Morons. Oh, wait a minute. Was I using morons and idiots? I want to get another idiot in there. Idiots.
Yes, I know you are, Joel. But what am I? Excuse me, I just took a bite of an
Diana?
song.
Yeah.
Damn it. But two things. One, Joel, it was you. Do you still have that keyboard that Joyful sent you? And in what condition is it? Did you take care of the gift that was sent to you? Take good care of it? Yes, he says it in text. It is cooked. Screwed up.
Look at this one. This one's been here for a couple months. It's not so bad. Only one key is, 2 keys. 3 keys, 4 keys, 5 keys.
Often give.
You know, it'll probably last a few more months. I've even been more careful about flicking my ashes, you know. This one seems to be better than a lot of them.
No burn holes in it.
One,
Yeah, well, I'm a slob. I need somebody to service me.
I thought that's what Nano's job was.
Huh?
I thought that's what Nano's job was.
Well, we're trying to ease her into it. I'm hoping that her
She's been
natural...
consistent the last couple days.
Has she?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
5 times 12.
Well, I'm trying to introduce the idea of the rainbow concept here and making it center around me, because I might as well admit it. Instead of a lifestyle where I have to work to get money and put pressure on and remind people and all this stuff, what I want is this to work as a rainbow energy field, so that what I need is, never mind the income, what do I really want? I want people I can relate to that won't rip me off. I serve them, they serve me. They allow me to make some money for them because they don't know how to make it themselves. I know a shitload of stuff, but since they haven't seen me make a lot of money, first year I was back here, I grossed $40,000 in 1989.
And number 2, I forgot.
I can make money.
God,
money's not
Holy
my
Spirit,
God. So I haven't really applied
God,
myself.
Which God?
So
There are
God
about
told me,
thousands of gods that
switch it
various
over.
people throughout the
Get
world
what
talk
you
of.
want, which is
Believe
your
it.
family first. Then if the family's open, I can teach them how to come together as a group
Are you
of
speaking
people
of Allah,
that's being run,
or
and each
Yahweh,
person understanding
or,
the job that
Zeus,
they're doing, which
or,
hopefully they enjoy doing, right? And when they enjoy doing it, and they allow someone to direct it, knowing about business
Does
and
it
shit
not occur
from
to
the
you,
ground
Diana,
up since I was
that
20.
God might
I
be
ran my
everything?
own first company,
Has it
and I
ever,
made a
ever
shitload
occurred
of
to you
money.
that God might be all of
I
the
can
people,
make money.
all of the people.
I haven't been interested in money.
And the egos and the
But if we
programs
need
that run
money,
where we think we're
we'll
human
make
beings
money.
and have beliefs and Surely
Just
there
one
must be
more
that
thing
tiny
we
bit of
can do, and
interest.
I'm
I
not
mean,
attached
long
to it. I'm
enough
not saying,
hanging
no,
around
I
those
hate
lunatics
money or I love money.
just
I'm just
to get a little
want to make
glimpse
some
of
money.
what's
All it is
inside
human
what people
interaction.
do.
Now, there's
And I know you're very
what's
quick to
really
come up to the
important is
microphone
not the
and tell me
money
what
you
it's all
make.
about.
It's
Come
how,
on, Diana.
the attitude,
Open your
the
eyes. Open your
consciousness.
mind. Stop being
In
so
other
rigid.
words, you open yourself up to the supply of the
Square
universe
than a bloody
and you get ideas to act on. You get
square.
impulses. You
Stop
get
being squarer than
hunches.
you know.
You follow
You're not quite
those
square.
hunches.
You're squarer than
I'm
you
just
know.
following my hunches. I'm saying, okay, we got a group here.
Uh,
Daniel wanted to come back,
possible that
wanted to borrow
God might
$500
be
to get him and
everything, huh?
his sweet one back
all
up
of the
here.
religions.
Only Daniel was
Possibly,
part of my
God
lesson.
might be everything.
I thought I could
Possibly
give him a clue. Well, I think
Possibly.
he got a clue, but he's still
God
indulging
made
in
to
all this
be
shit that seems to be
a
disruptive. Some people in God's
man-made
universe,
concept
in some people's universe, God
dreamed up
created troublemakers.
by very
He
few
created people that don't like
parts of
troublemakers.
humanity when they
He
had no
created
answer
people that love
for
troublemakers.
certain questions.
To put it simply, there's some people that like stirring the
Oh, it
pot
must be God.
enthusiastically.
And hello,
And other
Serpent.
people are there to
Thank you
steady
for
the
throwing
pot
an I am
sometimes.
on my screen. as
So
I'm on
it
the
all
mic.
works in harmony because God's
Let's see
always
what the
one
heck
step
it's
ahead
so
of us,
important that you
and
had the
God's
I am
playing every
probably
role. So it looks like you're getting fucked by one, but God's teaching you a lesson that you're supposed to rely on Him as a source, or her, or it, or whatever you want to call it, and that God giveth and God taketh away. It's as simple as that. Now you get right with God. God, if you get right with God,
Well, hello,
you divest
Serpent.
yourself of all the wants,
Yes,
ego,
sir.
bullshit,
Would be
and then
good
you're
idea
in
to
a
be shy
position to
of this
receive.
room,
But how
because
can
this
you
is a
receive if you have a little
cyber
fictional
radio
character that's
broadcast
saying, I know best,
production
and this
studio.
is what I want? And that's what's
And
wrong with the
sometimes,
secret law of attraction.
Or
It says,
often,
go to the vortex.
what is going on
Get the feelings
in
that you
here
would get
is being
if it is
recorded
what you had already, and
or
pretend that you
broadcast.
have it. The ego can't handle
Various
that. It's the same
websites.
thing as seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be
But-
added to you. The ego wants to know when it's coming, how it's coming, what form it's coming in, and all this shit. But if you go to where love is love, it doesn't matter what comes in. All of a sudden, you can enjoy
You
all
just
of it.
don't lie.
Something else comes in. It's a surprise. A challenge
You don't
comes
say
in.
something
It's not a
that
surprise.
you
Life is full of
wouldn't
challenges.
want someone
But
to
God's
say.
going to handle that challenge for you. Have some faith. Sharpen your abilities to see as you work it, as you turn your life over and you give up your own sense of life. There's no voids. It'll happen, but there's no faith in it because nobody practices it. The ego wants what it wants, and it doesn't realize it's on its way out. Well, once you realize you're on your way out, what have you got to lose? That's when it occurs to you after you had your death experience, you had your rough shit inside, being enclosed day after day with nothing to do. You had to face all your demons. And as you face your demons and you resolve your demons, the way gets clearer and clearer and clearer.
Well, where's the evidence?
And there's nobody to judge you
Evidence,
except
empirical
you.
evidence right now.
Because God isn't going to.
You could have made that up.
He knows it's all stacked in his favor. I mean, he's dealing the cards.
Plan is all good.
Yeah. He's dealing the cards. You know? You say you're going to go next week someplace, blah, blah, blah. There's a passage in the good book that
Open up
says
my
that.
minicam and
And
then
the
put the
Bible
I
says,
am
you fool, you fool. You fool.
on my
You've
screen.
got all these plans. It's all
Show it on
fiction.
the minicam.
It's all projection. You have no idea how long you're
I
going to
did
be
not make
here,
it up.
whether this is going to be your last minute, your last hour, your last day, your last week, your last month, and you get all these plans. You got a goal, and you got to get to the goal because you got to have what you want to be happy. You got to go after the goal. What a great way to separate yourself from God, because you don't find it in the past, you don't find it in the future. You find it right smack right here. That's
There's a
it.
feeling of
You can explain to everybody who'll get it intellectually and say, oh, wow, that's really
room
cool.
you're sitting in,
Or maybe they'll just reject it and say, I don't believe in God.
conversation you're having
Yeah, there's
with
no
me.
God. But that's because
Just
they have a
feel
cockamamie,
it.
foolish idea
Don't
of what they
judge
think
it.
God is. And
Don't
God
ask
isn't a
anything
thought.
of
He's
it.
not a concept. He's way beyond anything that you can even imagine.
Unfathomable.
Unfathomable. Yeah.
Probably not.
But
Probably
Nobody
not,
can
no.
convince me
You're just not in touch with our great Lord.
that there isn't
But it don't
a
matter,
God.
because I am. And I
I
forgive you
just
if you
don't know what it is. My human mind can't fathom it.
I don't think we were meant to know that.
Well, I can feel God,
Yeah.
but I don't know what God is. See, when they say they believe,
Well,
that's separating.
would you know what God was if you weren't caught in the ego?
I think that you become God when the
Just
ego
having
dissolves
With
enough,
the audio
which
record,
also has the,
that is not
what seems to me in my
necessarily
dream, seems
The
to
feeling of
lose
being is a
the
feeling of
whole
being.
concept of time,
God. Look around,
where
see a
so-called
tree,
miracles can
trees,
happen,
and
because if you're so sure
grass
of
and
what's
squirrels.
going on, I mean,
Squirrels right
I've
now,
had
but
some
sometimes
very
I do.
strange
Birds, I don't see
experiences
right now, but sometimes I do.
where
Birds.
basically people would say, "Oh, that's crazy." I would admit myself it's crazy. If I didn't know better that I'd witnessed it. They'd say, "Oh man, you were smoking some good dope, weren't you?" I say, "No." "Oh, you must have been drinking something." "No, just as straight as an arrow."
My faith
I
in
go
God.
in, I'll tell you. I go in to pay my taxes. I count out, I have $100 bills, fresh, crisp. $100 bills are hard to mistake, especially when you count them. Count them a couple times, make sure it's there. They do it in banks all the time. Counting it, because the human mind makes mistakes. I counted them. I had my recorder going. I had a witness there, but they unfortunately didn't see it. I counted these bills one at a time. I pushed them over the counter, just the exact amount of money. She counted them and handed me back on them. I counted them twice. I laid each one down. Counted them twice before I laid them down. One at a time, not all together. I know that I gave her exactly the amount to cover the taxes and $100 bills. She counted them, gave me back 100. That just happened to follow when I was listening to a Bashar video that talked about that. These miracles can only happen when you get your own opinion about everything that's happening out of the way. And he explained it, I thought, pretty good. You can go to bed in one universe and wake up in another. And I have experienced that. I've gone for not being able to get out of bed, hardly able to move. And 2 years ago, I jumped out of bed, didn't even realize it. Jumped out of bed, hit the floor running, went to the door, didn't even know what I was doing. Opened, flung open the door, just like the other day when I accidentally went outside. Flung open the door, stared up there and said, and I heard the words, and I was still didn't recognize what was going on, and said, "I'm back!" That was me when I was healthy. I'd had a healing that went from hardly getting out of bed to jumping out of bed, and the energy was all coursing through my whole body. And it was a rush, because it was afterwards that I realized what had happened. That is when I stopped taking medication. That's when I did all kinds of shit. And then magically, at the end of that month, it was exactly May. It was exactly June 1st. Exactly. And it lasted for almost the entire month. And then right at the end, we had the confrontation with the cops. I got arrested, thrown in jail. And that was the beginning of the end of that energy, where it went down. And then I had a doctor's appointment and was still in pretty good shape and stuff. And the doctor said it won't last. It won't last. Which was my encounter with the collective belief governing my belief and sucking me back into the belief system of the world.
Got you back on the hook.
Got me back on the hook, and I watched as I remerged with the former self. So I know that God can do fucking anything. He can take me from one dream to another instantaneously. because I just had that. I even told you about that experience. It was so fucking powerful. It was just as mind blowing as jumping out of bed and wondering what's going on. It was that much of a shock. It wasn't any slow, kind of waking up and, oh God, darling, you're so wonderful. It's like, oh, gee, what happened to you? Oh God, that was a dream. Oh, that was a nice dream. No, this was instantaneous. This was like, because I've been watching that area of the mind for so long. Most people don't even notice. You go to sleep. I have a nice sleep, honey. No, since 2008, when I went from 220 pounds to 150 fucking pounds in a few months, I was in a state of being aware. I couldn't help it. I just got into that state. Now I know what these people are saying. I just don't know how to control it. Because the I that says I don't know how to control it, isn't what is needed to control it.
Right.
It needs to be removed.
Let go of the control.
It needs to be let go. And I'm trying. Just having said that, it's like, yeah, you are trying, Joel. Fucking idiot.
Are you the one on the hook or the one throwing the line?
I don't know, but it's like I'm between two belief systems, two thoughts right now, which is I'm experimenting between, and the idea came into me. Well, wait a minute. Nano wanted to do the books. Then I said, no, you should learn my method. Then I gave it up and I said, okay, we'll go with your method. Then we came back again to it's her method, and that shit would give her something to do. So let's go with her method, even if she has to reinvent it.
Yeah, she's doing that.
See?
See
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I see
See
it
what I'm
unfold.
saying?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what my method was. It's time for a change. It doesn't matter in terms of saying, well, it'd be more efficient if she learned my method. No.
Yeah.
What's needed
You
is
were-
to get her into what she would do if she could normally do it and pay, quote, pay her donation. But why does I need a donation if I could end up with somebody that's actually running a good portion of the house that gets my shit organized with the deal, which she said earlier today. She would not throw anything out without my being able to check it first. That's all I need. All I need. Where it goes, where it ends up, I don't give a fuck. Just take care of it. I'm having fun doing what I'm doing. That'll keep you busy. If you like doing it, go ahead and do it. Everybody should be able to do what they want to do that makes them happy. It's not up for me to decide that you need to do something that doesn't make you happy. Although in the regular world you say, okay, it's your turn to clean the toilet bowl. It's not a lot of people that you're going to find that want to clean the toilet bowl.
Right.
Okay.
You got to delegate that.
Right. So it's like pick straws, okay? Who's the unlucky bastard that has the karma that cleans the toilet bowl and cleans up the dog shit? Okay? I mean, that's fair, all right? We have to admit that, at least in this idea, that there are a few things that we all got to do.
It reminds me of when I got out of jail one time. I got a job at a dog show, actually for a weekend. And of course, I was a new guy, and they put me on shit cleanup, so I had to be in the middle of this arena cleaning up dog shit. Well, I figured, everybody else was getting applause, so I cleaned up dog shit and I took a bow. The whole fucking arena gave me an applause for cleaning up dog shit. And of course, I got out of that duty real quick and switched to parking lot security, which is the worst thing I can do is have any authority. At that point in my life, I just pissed everybody off that was trying to get close with their dog, so the dog wouldn't get dirty. Blocking the fire lane, I'm kicking everybody out of there. They had a
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did my job well, but I was.
But God, I have cleaned some good stuff, some beliefs, like God's little helper. Who am I to think that I'm helping God?
Right.
I mean, seriously, if I'm going to let this shit go so that I can feel God, that's enough. Then I'm God's little helper, and there's no somebody there to say I'm God's little helper. Oh, look at me, pat me on the back. The reward, like I just explained, is
the gift
to feel God, and that automatically makes you an involuntary giver. There's no ego to get anything out of it.
Well, what is it in the Bible? It also talks about when you give, you do it in secret.
Yeah.
To that degree, so that
Yeah, you don't have to go
otherwise it's
around
me
and go,
looking for
oh, look what I gave. You know,
Yeah.
that's what it says. It says,
Right.
you know, about all these guys that are going in there and praying, you know, and you
Yeah.
can hear them all, and it's
It's
like
become a
they
show.
say big prayers and all this shit. That's all ego.
Yeah.
The real
Right.
thing is in your closet. You don't have to say, look at what I did.
Well, I like the new church idea too. I went into a church with somebody within the last year, and you walked in and it was almost like a cafeteria. Something they were selling food. They
Yeah.
enticed you with food, so you walked through the door.
No, yeah.
Food. It was like a market. You know, oh, we got all this God stuff for sale. That's before you went into the church service, and then with the music included, it was almost like going to a concert. You know,
Oh,
or
yeah.
a movie. You know.
Got a lighter that works. Oh, wait
Yeah,
a
I
minute.
know.
I got one. I think so.
Yeah, I stopped by a little while ago. I had Virginia with me and the baby, but I ended up forgetting the key at a cousin's house to the door, so I had to leave and come back. It was in my. We had real cigarettes, so
Wow.
so I had to go back and drop her. I dropped her.
That's a real cigarette?
Yeah, you want one?
Sure. I only said that because I knew you would offer me one if I said it.
I usually do anyways. That's some weed.
But did you see how that works?
Yeah, it works well. It's a
There's-
good way to
there's
do
all
it,
kinds
too.
of-
It's
yeah.
a good way to do it. You know, I have people that I deal with on a daily basis that will say, they'll call up and they'll beat around the bush, you know?
Mm.
Well, what are you doing? And to me, that interprets, would you get me high? Or or I need or I need something, you know?
Well, that's the best
Yeah,
way to
instead of
ask.
just
It's
coming-
not imposing. You see,
Right.
that's why I pointed it out, because I love pulling the carpet out from my own ego.
Yeah.
See, the ego said that to me, but I don't identify with it.
Well,
As Mr.
I
Bridges,
usually don't
that is it. I
give
just-
if
see,
somebody beats around the bush. If somebody doesn't get to the point, I'll just act like I don't know what point to
well, I could ask you too, but I mean, I don't really need one.
Well,
you
you
know
can
what I
welcome
mean?
to have one if you'd like.
Well, I know that's the neat thing about it. No, keep it. Oh, fuck you! I'll take it.
Take it.
Yeah, God damn it.
It'll save me.
Yeah, and I call people on the bluff if they say something that, oh, I really can't. I go, okay.
How about I'm sure? Oh, are you sure?
Are you sure?
I'm pretty confused.
You know,
Are
it's
you
like-
sure? After they ask themselves, can I have a cigarette? Are you sure? No?
Yeah. That is so funny. You know, that is so much fun to pull the carpet. After you know what Gandhi did? This is perfect. Gandhi had a woman come to her and said, Gandhi, my little boy likes lollipops. Tell him to stop. Gandhi said, come back in 2 days. The woman came back with little Johnny in 2 days, and Gandhi said, stop doing lollipops, Jimmy. So, well, why did you have us come back in 2 days? Because he said I gave him up. If I can give him up, he can give him up. Give him up, Jimmy. In other words, once you've been there, this is what doesn't work. Because the young people want to make their own mistakes. They're warned about what's going to happen. They forget all about it. Or maybe some of them don't. They say, if you do this, this is what's going to happen to you. She's going to tear your heart out. She's going to feed it to you. She's going to cheat on you. Okay? She has all the warning signs of what you told me. Not only that, but I've talked to her. She isn't right for you. And what do? They get together with them anyway.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Because that's what that part of God is doing. So for the old people that wish the young people would listen to them, forget it.
it's not going to happen.
It doesn't. It's like the Alan Watts thing, which I already said. The monkey discovers the fish that beats itself on the shore and feels pity for it and says, "Here, let me help you," as the monkey shoves it up in a tree.
One thing I realized dealing with my own children is I cannot really give advice, or I have to make suggestions and paint different scenarios. So they have multiple choices, and then they feel more in control.
Oh yeah.
And they tend to they realize that, this could go one way or the other, or this way or that way, and then they just look at it a little bit more and they make a choice on that.
Mm.
And not always right, but they've done pretty good.
Oh yeah.
Two of my children, my youngest and my oldest, are graduating this week. By Friday, I think it's Friday the graduation is.
Oh yeah.
So my youngest graduated from high school. My daughter went back and is getting her diploma. So all three of my children have graduated. My son got a scholarship to art school. psyched for that. I'm surprised because he's more a musician. I really didn't know because my youngest I don't know very well, and I didn't even know he was into art. So he just got a scholarship.
Wow, that's cool. Well, you're quite talented. So I wonder what you never told me, and I never asked. Where do you suppose you get that in your
My mother.
family lineage?
My mother. My mother
Really?
was very creative. Always doing crafts, art, drawing,
Really?
stuff like that. She was right brained.
So that really, yeah, 'cause I had the same thing. You know, I've kind of missed my art career. I did a lot of custom signs for people, 'cause I didn't go for the painting thing, you know. And I did a lot of photography. My father discouraged me from saying, "No, you never make any money in photography." So I listened to him.
Too bad. That's been something I've
I
been
know.
interested in. I've been interested in photography.
But what I've done instead is you know, he was an amateur photographer. I mean, he was as professional as they come. He had Nikon equipment. He had, when I grew up, he had his dark room and all that, all the latest stuff. And maybe that wasn't his job, but he was as professional as they got. I mean, the guy was fantastic. And I'm not saying that just because he was my dad. I'm saying that because having been grown up in an art family and educated to art and paintings and, you know, artists and all that kind of stuff, the education, I have an eye for it. And yeah, that is all a belief system, and it all is a standard and all of that. I mean, you know, why isn't an Elvis painting on black velvet art considered to be art if he's wearing you know, one of those big Mexican hats and holding his guitar and he's got his foot up on a chair next to a table with a bowl of fruit on it? Why isn't that art? Well, I guess that's education. Some people get educated on what they consider to be art, and then they use this imaginary education to discuss what is art to other artists that are educated. And other people that aren't educated obviously don't know what art is if they think that that kind of painting is art. But that's only a matter of an opinion. That's on the level of the matrix.
By numbers, same idea.
Yeah, it's got nothing to do with what's really important, which is not your judgment of whatever you think is good or bad. It has to do with what you're feeling.
See, I actually watched my grandfather paint by numbers.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was, and he had the vibe of any famous artist. You know, he was so into it. You know, he'd dab here and do his little own touch-ups to it.
Yeah.
You know, it was a guide. He was guided through it with the number system, but you know.
Did he start painting on his own?
No.
He just did the paint by
No,
numbers.
my grandfather was quite a character. Yeah, he propositioned my girlfriend for sex while I was in jail for 5 months.
Oh God.
Yeah. So I had to deal with that resentment, and then it come to the point where I had to make a choice to pull the plug on him when he went into cardiac arrest, and I had to really question my motives, you know. And,
Oh really?
oh yeah, I had to, you know. Well, I was angry, but I was also merciful, you know.
Oh yeah.
And at the same time, so I had to give that part of that situation in order to make the decision, and it was obvious what the decision needed to be because there was no coming back from it, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, that's interesting. See, I love self-discovery. I don't care if
Yeah.
people call it ego or whatever it is, you know?
yeah. And as well, guess we left everything too. My girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah. Which didn't consist of a whole lot of stuff. Just junk, me, but you know, it was, you know, so it was kind of funny. She was with me, so it seemed to both of us, but you know, I guess so. I'm not so sure if she didn't take him up on the proposition.
Oh, yeah.
But she was kind of a wild one. My kind of girl at that time in my life.
That's better. Get a little lower on lot water.
Yeah, how do you like that, bud?
Really good.
It has nice taste.
But, you know, I think this is the last stuff that you laid on me. I don't know if this is the same stuff, is it?
So let's see, I'll tell you.
Because,
If it's lighter or darker, I can tell by looking at it.
you
No,
see-
that's the stuff that I gave you some of.
oh, was it?
Yeah. That's the bottom.
Well, what the fuck did I do
Okay.
with the, God, I don't remember what I did with it. Fuck, did I leave it somewhere?
I mean, let me say, a lot of that stuff.
Well, I might have laid it on the desk here, you know. But I got a pretty good buzz on.
Last good strains, you know.
Last time no, that's not it. That's weird.
No.
They say most of Colorado is stoned these days.
Yeah, it was interesting because with all the rules and laws out there for smoking, me and many other people would just sit on the sidewalk in the street and smoke, you know.
God almighty. That's a bad cough. What about making some brownies? That'd be so much easier.
I can get some powerful edibles. That's another area I wanted to get into. And,
You were going to get me one of those lollipops, but that was all sugar, right?
yeah, I should be able to get the.
No, but I mean, I'm not supposed to have sugar. Ask him if he can make some with Splenda.
I'll find out. I don't see why they couldn't. Really.
Custom lollipop.
I'll find out.
Oh, you better believe it. I thought I took a little hit, but that shit just holy shit. No, that stuff is like killer weed, and it's amazing because I remember growing up in the '70s and the '60s actually. My first joint was when I was 17. I was late. I was a newcomer.
Yeah.
But considering I grew up in a little community away from everything, we discovered the kids that were in the city. They didn't even go to our high school. And now I can't even remember. I can't remember how I even met one of my childhood touchstones that became a doctor. And to think at one time that I was actually in bed with her and thinking about fucking her.
Yes.
And I decided at the last minute that I didn't want to spoil her friendship.
Oh,
Fuck, did that piss her off?
Geez.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
She's obviously thinking about me, and I'm thinking a little about her, but I'm not really into her that much. So it must be that I picked up on her vibes, and she picked up on my sexuality, my hormones, my maleness, wanting to fuck, but she wasn't really my type. You know what I mean?
Yeah. More.
And then I was thinking, oh shit. And then she had warned me. Her mother had said she had a dream that we got married, and that kind of frightened the shit out of me. Oh yeah,
That's
Oh,
cold
geez.
feet right there.
Yeah, but anyway, she took it fairly well for a woman. A woman scorned is nothing to fool around with.
No.
But I think I pulled that off. She called me up, I don't know, I think I heard from her first about 10 years ago. I never answered her. Then I heard from her again. She actually phoned me because the internet, you can find anybody nowadays if they even so much as get involved in the internet. She found me. She called the number. I mean, I haven't hidden myself. If you type Joel T. Bridges, you get, 5 years ago, you got 38,000 listings. But you have to put it in quotes because you don't want to make the mistake of Joel T. Bridges because it'll pull up everything that's Joel and then everything that's T and everything that's Bridges. You have to put it in quotes. That way it narrows it down and it only pulls up that phrase.
Okay, so what's the difference between Joel T. Bridges and Joel Batzel?
Not much, but we pretend there is.
All right.
Joel Bridges is an improv character made up by Joel Scott Batzel.
Okay.
But Scott Batzel, since I came up with the Mr. Bridges, I thought of it, was thought of it by my parents that I would be called Joel Scott Batzel, which is as much of a fiction as my being a parent, my parent giving my fictional character a name. So because they got convinced that they were their names, and I, for a while, identified with my name. And then I got
I got a clue that I wasn't my name. How could I be my name? That's the name of a computer robotic three-dimensional holographic energy being, which happens to take form. And if you have eyes, you get to see it. If you don't, you get to hear it. And if you have neither one, you get slapped in the face, and I can laugh and give you a good pummel, and you can't even do anything about it because you're fucking deaf and you're fucking mute. Unless, of course, you have the new computer system that we invented, which allows you to see the motherfuckers that want to take advantage of you. And then you can use your prosthetic hearing that comes in through your jawbone, okay, because of a chip, and you can actually hear the vibrations and learn how to interpret that as data, which is all it is. Sounds are data, whether it's banging on something, ding, ding, ding,
Vibrations.
or it's Morse code, dee, 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 dee. And if you can do it fast enough, you can do it so fast that you don't even have to have human language. Dee, 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 dee. And if you really get good at it and you have higher awareness, you can actually get the data. You don't need the story. You can get the vibe. And you can leave the story aside because most people get sidetracked by the story with somebody like Mr. Bridges who pretends to be nice. Here. Hi, how are you? Oh, you look like a really interesting person. I'll bet you've had a really interesting life, haven't you? Yeah, and I like what you're wearing there. Those glasses go real well with what you're wearing. Oh, and that T-shirt. Oh, doggone, that's so
Or
clever.
the giveaways with the dog pins. You know, I love my dog.
And then once you make friends with them, then you stab them in the back.
I had my family in Connecticut.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I definitely do. My family in Connecticut are scam artists. They sell cocaine. They're just all criminal enterprise shit. And they would go in to do a scam or what have you, and they would pick people in line, like if they were stealing stuff from the stores or whatever. They would go up into like the women that had their pins on with their dogs or whatever on there,
Yeah.
and they would like throw a bag of dog food down. Didn't even own a dog. They throw the dog food down and get into this long, drawn-out conversation about wonderful dog stories, and to the point where the person was so distracted about the dog story that they would do their scam and get away with it.
Right.
Because they just redirected them towards their showing of what they were soft in or whatever they call it.
I love scam artists. There was a favorite show of mine that you missed. I know you missed it because you're only 46 and I'm 64. There was a time of golden TV, golden television, the golden years. And that's when they were experimenting, okay? They have the same technology they have now as they had then, but that's a whole nother story. Back then, they were experimenting, and they put this really cool show on. And as a 12-year-old kid, oh, man, you know, ready to get into all the stuff and the crap you've discovered and the things that you weren't supposed to watch until you were 18, stuff that you were privy to. Your parents would whisper and they'd spell words because they thought you were too stupid and illiterate to understand and put it together, and you kept it up, and making them think that you couldn't understand what it was they were talking about because you didn't want to tell them, because if you told them, you'd figured out that they would probably stop, and you still wanted to be privy to what they were saying, so you'd play stupid. That's where I originally learned how to play stupid. If you see something that's aware, like a cop or someone else, I can go into a mode where I can play really stupid. I can play this nicest guy in the world. Gee, I don't know what I did, officer. No, I have no idea how fast I was driving. Gee, I didn't know I had a taillight out. Oh my God, I'm going to have to fix it right away. And what was I thinking? I should have gone out and checked all that shit. I'm so sorry. A bunch of fucking bullshit. Or any scenario that's convincing.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I've gotten out of more fucking tickets you can fucking believe because I've had a bullshit role that I played. You know, it's not like, hi, officer, I was speeding really fast wondering where the fuck you were and where you people were hiding. I envisioned a cop here so that I'd be stopped, you'd fucking wrap me over the head, you'd search me, you'd grab the roaches out of my ashtray, keep them for yourself and take me to fucking jail and probably beat the shit out of me either here or there when you get there with your boys. What the fuck? I know you have a job to do and you like to beat people up. So sure, come on, I'll tell you the truth. fucking asshole.
Yeah, I had some experiences with cops before. One time I was back in my smuggling days. I had drugs in my mouth, and the driver got stopped.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I went like this. Of course, this cop didn't know what I sounded like, so I looked like I had a jaw full of chaw. And I was like, "What seems to be the problem, officer?" Like this, and I had this jaw, you know, and I had a mouthful of drugs. And he goes, and so he's talking to us, and he got us to get out of the car, and it was snowing, and I had like a pop pipe with me. So I got out and I went like this, like I slipped, pipe was flying, you know. I got rid of the pipe, and I got far enough away from the car so that the dogs come and smell. They smell. We just smoked a joint, so it stunk. And so the cop asked me if I had any weapons or drugs in the car. No, officer, you know, and get out. I'm up front. The dogs are searching. Finally, I'm like, oh, we're fucking tired of this, you know. But the dogs are taking forever because they can't find nothing, but they smell the scent. So I spoke up. Oh, it might be that joint we smoked. He goes, what? He goes, I thought you didn't have any drugs in the car. I said, no, I have my medicine. Like I was real stupid. He goes, you're a smart ass, aren't you? You know. So they let
Is
us
that when you had a legal
oh yeah, I've had
certificate?
that for years now since they first.
Yeah.
I
So
got my
you
medicine.
played him.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
yeah.
that's
So
so
I threw the
cool.
scent off.
I wonder how many times you can get away with that with each cup. You have your certificate. You know what's in your pocket. You're not too
Oh, yeah,
stoned.
no.
You didn't leave it home. You
Technically,
set
you
them
don't
up.
have to. I don't believe you should have to. And really explain anything to them about your medical records or your medications.
But it's a certificate. That's
right,
the
but
key.
they didn't. Yeah, they said drugs or weapons.
Right. So you just didn't mention it right away.
The only
Yeah,
weapon I
that's
have is
cool.
my intelligence, which I kind of keep that at bay.
Hey, you could play that to the max where he discovers it and you deny it and you deny it.
You're right.
And that's just as you're getting handcuffed, you say,
that,
oh shit, I'm sorry, I'm so fucking stoned.
all that.
I forgot to show this
yeah,
to you.
it's a short-term memory loss.
Yeah, that's a short-term memory loss, officer. I'm sorry, you know. Oh my God, that is so funny.
Auditory processing disorder.
Yeah,
Quite
I have
understand.
attention disorder deficit officer. Also, I have a sometimes a huge memory loss. What was your fucking name?
Hit the badge
Oh,
number like 20
God.
times.
Oh God, life is so weird. I mean, where could you do it anywhere but on the theater of activity where God set this up? So you've got bad guys, good guys. You got people that are wanting to get this. They already pulled this shit on us once. I lived through it. I don't know if you did, but I was raised in elementary school. We had to practice bomb drills. What we were to do, and none of us really understood what that was all about. But we had to go into the hall. There were classrooms on either side of one long hall with a door at one end and a door at the other end, a long hall with classrooms on both sides of the hall. Now, there was a door there, and then there's a wall, and there's a big space. All the kids would be pulled out of all the classrooms on either side of the hall and get down and sit next to each other. It was amazing because it was cool seeing all the kids. You were always sitting by somebody, you know, like Mary Lou sitting next to her was, you know, our
we had
favorite
fire
thing.
drills, so I know.
And then they would tell us, you had to take your hats, kids, and you have to place it between your knees. And then later we understood that it was like we were going to kiss our ass goodbye because there's no way if Schenectady, New York got hit, which was on the top 10 Russian bomb list with 50,000 people there at one time before they moved departments and started diversing where General Electric was located. It was all a conglomerate right in Schenectady, feeding all these people jobs, the economy, my parents, everything. And then there came a time that they understood, hey, wait a minute, the Russians got us on their list. So they had to diversify so they wouldn't get them all at once. They hit Schenectady. So I was like living in the top 10 targets for being wiped out if there was a nuclear war. And everybody back in those days were concerned about a nuclear war.
The Russians, right?
The Russians.
I remember that. I remember
Yeah.
when I was young.
Yeah, it
Big
wasn't the
Russians.
Cold War yet. It was
Yeah.
like the hot war. It was like,
Well, I remember hearing about it, you know.
Oh, yeah.
At least when I was younger.
and that thing with Cuba, that was cute. That was
Yeah,
that was one of the most dramatic things. That covered a multiple of sins of what was actually going on, which is all the corruption we still got today. It's just that the corruption is out in the open, but not as open as it is. For every person that they put on the news and they say, well, this guy got caught for corruption. What they really got going is a club full of people, never mind their names, never mind their mansions. It's
Yeah,
just
throw
like
somebody under
all
the
of us.
bus.
Imagine, you're Bill Gates and I'm somebody that has more money. And we go where we want, when we want, with full security, because they're all in plain clothes. They gather around us. We're sitting right in the middle of a crowd, but nobody actually realizes the people around us look like everybody else, and they're all paid so that they can take the bullet. Right?
Yeah.
You can have maximum security. Imagine Bill Gates not, and the Pope Mobile, okay? Same deal, only that's for show and tell. That's for like, look at me, I'm the Pope. Want to shoot me? You can't. But that doesn't mean they couldn't drop a helicopter bomb on him or something like that,
Right.
or poison him.
Yeah.
But it's all a game. It's all people taking all these roles.
Well, I try to hit people to certain things because when I got arrested for LSD, I was a pretty high profile case. I was 21 years old when I got arrested, and I was mailing LSD all over the United States and traveling while I was doing it. So I had people wiring me money. I would make a phone call. Like I'd meet people at the concerts, and I get their name, address, telephone number, and I'd make a phone call from, let's say, Maine, and I'd get ready to travel out west. Make the phone call from Maine, have the money wired in Western Union, which at that time you didn't need to have ID under a certain amount of money. And so I would pick the money up in like Chicago and have a package sent from California. So all the transactions were completely broke up all over the United States. So they considered me pretty elite at how I did it, even though they never busted me for one mail order. They got me with possession coming into the state of Maine. But what happened was I was informed that there was, at any given time, because of the high profile of my case, that I've had up to 35 unmarked federal agents around me at any given time. So just driving down the road, there could be 35 vehicles around you, driving with you and following you and tailing you. And it got to the point, there was one point where I actually used spy techniques where I carried a backpack with a change of clothes, and I would go do a transaction, go into a store, go into the bathroom, and totally change my entire identity before I came back out of the store.
Oh, that's awesome. I played that too. I was a secret agent for a while for the powers that be, and I would do all kinds of really cool things. It was like I had to test it. Are these people really like I think I am? And then after I figured out all these people react to shit like I was when I wasn't very aware, yeah, they're responding. It's like the ultimate in telemarketing. It's knowing that people are so fucking programmed, so asleep, so in la-la land, that it's like taking candy away from a baby. Somebody, I'll give you an example. In the chat room, if I tore somebody, if Mr. Bridges tore somebody a new asshole, wouldn't they laugh and laugh? Oh, how funny it is, how funny it is. It's like, because they take it personally. So then, after letting one guy in there for a couple of months, getting a good laugh out of my Mr. Bridges, the character Mr. Bridges tearing somebody a new asshole, then I thought I'd try it on him.
It wasn't fun.
No.
No, it wasn't fun.
No. We didn't see him for months after that. Yeah.
Yeah, show's over.
Before that, he had made a donation. Why? If I wasn't interested in money, I should have left him the fuck alone. He could have been the golden goose, loaded the golden egg. It's like having Diana Victoria. She sent some money. But obviously I haven't pleased her. I haven't enlightened her enough. I haven't, kissed ass enough to thank her enough and all this kind of shit. If I knew she had that kind of ego, just like everybody else's, I could become a traitor and go against my better business. If it was all about money, I'd kiss ass and I'd thank all the patrons. I'd say, oh, thank you. Oh, you're so great. If you're awesome, what a great way to make friends, even with people that are fucking asleep. Because if you play the program and you play the role well, I mean, look at Ronald Reagan. He played president of the United States, for Christ's sake.
He did well.
There's a place for you if you're an idiot. If you're completely fucking asleep, you can pretend to be anything that you want to be. You don't have to have the real facts. the fucking normal people like you folks, most of you tuned in, you don't give a shit. You'll
No.
fucking believe just
Well,
about
they like
anything.
the actors. They like the actors. Schwarzenegger's done pretty well for himself too.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
like the actors because it's something they're familiar with.
Wait a
They're
minute.
familiar
Next
with
thing
the
will
shows.
happen,
Oh,
they'll
just-
like nominate me for president.
Yeah, Terminator for president.
Oh wait, they already have. Yeah, Una was around. Oh, there's that little twerp right now. Golden piss yellow in here.
Joe,
Jesus
can you tell me what
Christ.
time it is there? I left my phone.
Oh, you want to create time? All right,
Yeah.
here we go. 9.
Nine?
It's 9.
Oh, really? That's not bad.
Oh, wait a minute. Nope. There's 2 more numbers.
Oh.
Could be 959.
Is it? Because
No. It's 942.
Okay, so I gotta get going real soon because I gotta shut my lights off by 10,
That's all right.
and I gotta head back.
That's
I was
fine.
gonna ask you to go do the overnight with her. She's got the baby over there with her
What's-
cousin.
What's this about a baby?
Oh,
you're doing the overnight with
Yeah,
her?
Virginia's son. Something came up and he couldn't babysit his.
Doesn't matter to me. I mean,
Yeah.
you
I just wanna
volunteer
let you know
that
I'm taking the
information
car.
if you want.
I was just letting you know I'm taking. I'm gonna take the
Yeah.
car for the night.
You know, I used to try to get people to actually do that, but they just leave the house like Everett, and then
I disappear completely. Oh, I called there tonight.
Yeah.
I got hold of Tammy. Did he call you?
no.
Huh, right. I called Tammy. She said he was somewhere doing something when he got back. She'd have him call me. It never happened.
Oh yeah.
So I never got a call.
No, he's
and,
feeling guilty about it because he knows.
I
that
let her
he's-
know we're going to be
He
backing
knows he's
stuff
been
up, though.
found out.
Yeah, I let
he
her know that
knows.
we were going to be.
He did it the
off.
first time. It's cost this house $900.
Why is it so hard to?
That's what I'm wondering, and I'm wondering if we
What?
take anybody in here, we ought to test the spirits, not just Mr. Bridges, but your champ, Nano's Judge Judy. We need. It says. I just found a video the other day. You should name your ego, because somebody could say to you, okay, you say. That's why I told Nano. I said, look, you want Mr. Bridges to stop? Say, stop, Mr. Bridges. Otherwise, we're going to stay in Mr. Bridges' neighborhood because I'm having a hell of a good time doing the tit for tat.
Well, I had a situation that happened. You mentioned that fella Rick Dolan.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he came in and was visiting with
Leanne?
with Leanne,
Yeah.
and so when he came in, they gave him knocked on the door to my place. So I let him in. He came in. Well, he was always pretty inebriated. He was. And,
Oh, yeah.
So he was talking about being sleeping under the bridge or some fucking thing.
Oh,
So I said, well, have you talked to Joel or something? I think he's hinting around while I was saying, have you
I've
talked?
known him since he was 4 years old.
Well, I gave him the hint that maybe he should talk to you. Well, what he did is he got to the point where Leanne went to bed. Now, up to that point, he was her guest. You
Right.
know? So then she went to bed, and he lingered for a while, and he was my guest. But I told him that he needed to talk to you about staying the night or doing whatever he was going to do with her or what the situation was. And so we beat around the bush, I think, assuming that if he stayed late enough and was fucked up enough, that I would just, lay down.
Right.
And I had to put him out last night. And
How'd you do that? How did you
well,
take it?
he first of all, he said, well, it was going to take me 5 minutes to pick my stuff up. I said, okay. And because Virginia she was getting irritated. Virginia wanted to go to bed,
Oh, yeah.
So I said, so 5 minutes went by. He had a cigarette. And then I said, well, gotta go, man. I'm getting ready to crash. And he says, well, you need another 15, I need 15 minutes to get ready. He's going like this in his bag, doing nothing but
Right.
putting hands in pockets and stuff.
Right.
And I said, well, no, I gave you 5 minutes already. So I went to the door and opened the door, like shoot him out. But, then he realized that I really wasn't playing games with him. I didn't,
See, what he's not used to is a change in the house. What we would have is we would have a conspiracy going on because I'm the head honcho and I'm running a community. I get rid of the community, just become a normal human being. I'm a U.S. property owner. I have some property. If you can make it with me here, knowing what I do and all that, and you can prove to me that you're trustworthy, it's just like any family. The more that you work with people, the more you see how they act, how they react, what they're willing to do for you as courtesy, even having manners, okay? Those are the people that you have communication with. And they're not sitting around bullshitting you, and they're interested in their house. Not your house, but their house, because I've said, hey, This is a family. I haven't said it this way, but I'll say it. This is my family. If you're a guest and you come in with my family, if there's any part of my family you can't get along with, guess who's leaving?
Well,
Because as a family, we can stick together and we can watch for each other in terms of vibes. Maybe I'm seeing something and I'm saying, okay, that's okay. I'll watch it for a while. You might say, well, I'm not really getting a good vibe.
well, that's
you
where
know.
the vibe. I knew where it was going, and I let it go for a while. See
Well, he's
exactly.
a good being, but he's got this shell he needs to break through.
Well, and I could see the frustration on him, and I was really questioning whether he was going to like.
Well, at least he
Oppose
didn't
me.
pull the poor me. I don't have any place to live.
No, you know
He
what I
was-
said to him when he went out the door? I said, well, have a good night, and then do the. He goes, I don't think so. I said, well, do what you've been doing for the last 46 years then, because,
Is he 46?
yeah, he's my age.
Wow.
And I said, so, well, you've been doing it for a lot of years now, before tonight. I said, and I let him out. And he apologized at the door as I was letting him out. I was,
Well, it could be programming, or it could be.
sincere.
Sincere.
But
Could have been.
But I still felt.
But
that
you
it
know
was-
what he did? I'll tell you what he did. He went out and he used the trailer last night.
Oh, he did? Yeah.
I'll bet you a Happy Meal. You know why?
Why?
Because we know he's been out there before.
Oh.
And he might be drunk, but he's
Yeah.
not stupid.
Yeah. Well, I mentioned, it's funny too, because I mentioned to him about the places available here. I didn't bring up
By the way, did we check? I remember saying that to you a long time ago. Go out and check and see what's in there.
Yeah, I did. I went out and looked.
Was
and
there a sleeping bag?
No,
There used to be.
there was no sleeping bag. It looked like somebody started a fire in the sink. I told you.
Yeah.
The bed was flipped up, so no bed wasn't down.
No bed at all to sleep on?
No, the bed's in there, but it was just tipped up.
Well, wait a
So-
minute. There's two of them. There's one on the bottom bunk, and then there's one overhead.
All right, I didn't get into looking underneath it.
Because I don't know if the top folds up. I've never seen it fold
Yeah,
up.
it looked
nor
like
have I tried.
something was just folded up against the wall at an
Yeah.
angle, like it just needs to be repositioned.
Well, what we need to do, what I've explained to Nano today is what I want, what I need, that would make me happier, that would make it possible for me to serve this house even better for people at large. And that is, I need to get healthier. I need to have some things a little easier, more organized, so that I can actually use my brain again. You say, well, why don't you do it yourself? I don't want to. I don't want to. I'm a stubborn little kid. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah, I don't do what I
I
want
am a
I'm the same
creative
way. I
tap.
don't do what I don't want to do.
Right.
I say
I'm a
myself,
creative tap. I will make all of you a fortune before I die if you follow directions. There's nobody in the world that I know of, there might be, it'd be cool to meet him, that has recorded their life for over 30 years.
Can I roll one of your cigarettes?
Sure.
Since I'm out.
Yeah, hope so.
There's nobody else that you know of. Where did the Truman story come up? So that was.
That's
That's kind of funny. It's
watched
not like
it.
your story's stolen.
I know.
Yeah.
And so is Groundhog Day.
Yeah.
I've seen all this shit before I see it on TV.
Yeah.
And I've stopped freaking out about it and
Yeah.
realizing that I am tapped for my ideas and all of this stuff. And let's put them in this little dream sequence, this little three-dimensional holographic reality computer program, and seeing how this being takes it. Because right now they have me inside something about the size of a closet, reclined, sitting very naturally. They're regulating my heartbeat. They're regulating my blood flow. They're giving me the proper dosage of discomfort to keep me going, kind of like spurs in the saddle of a horse to keep him bunking,
Oh, yeah.
bucking, I mean,
Yeah.
bunking.
Bunking with the horses.
Bunking with the horses, bucking, just enough to keep me progressing, saying, all right, we're leaving hell, goodbye hell, I feel a little bit better today, oh, less hell today, less suffering, oh yeah, oh, I love it, but we've got a beat. We're going to give a workshop, okay, because I learned this from masters. If you suffer and you're in pain and everything bugs the shit out of you, okay, I mean, some people are there. They just, want to become antisocial. They don't want to have any friends. They don't want to do anything. They're not creative anymore. And it's all because they're concentrated on the suffering. They don't see what they have. So what I plan on doing is, if you can't show them, if they can't understand it, they're too far gone to even know what love is, and that it's there all the time. If they're that stupid, what we can do for them, and this is good, what we can do for them is push them over the edge. Because if you examine the stories,
Push them over the edge.
yeah, push them. I'll expound, but not quite yet. This is a story. How many times have you been in a situation where you were grumbling and complaining and things got worse, and you didn't realize how good you had it?
The grass isn't greener.
And then you linger there. You start picking up things like, oh, they're doing it to me. Oh, maybe I'm a victim. Oh, the victim role is awesome.
Yeah.
It's like, they did it to me. Oh, God.
It reinforces that behavior, too. I noticed that.
Yeah. God, I've played victim before. It's an awesome role. They say there's no small roles, just small people. And I like them all, I like them all. Playing a victim, I use that in my arsenal of shit, because that's the ego. I couldn't tell people about their own ego if I wasn't ego and didn't know my own ego. Since I know my own ego, I know their egos. I know that when ego comes up, shining in my face, it doesn't make any difference if it's mine or theirs. It's obviously mine, because in mine, it takes mine to recognize that, whatever that is. I have to have the receptor in my consciousness, not my brain, in my consciousness. Have you ever seen consciousness before? Or have you only seen graphs and little fuzzy images and all that shit? You ever see consciousness?
Consciousness.
Just consciousness? The space? A whole universe? Nothing can escape the consciousness that always has been, will be, and is forever, with no beginning and no end, and it's the alpha and the omega, it's the beginning and the end, and it's timeless. And I can't even wrap my fucking, I can't, it blows my mind.
I think once you get to
even try.
That an understanding.
There's no understanding.
That's when the curveball comes.
I'll tell you what, the understanding only comes within the fishbowl. Let's say you have a fishbowl. You know the environment that fish are going to thrive in, right? Because you're God. You're the guy that created the bowl. You created the fish.
This is interesting. I'll tell you why after.
You created the fish. You created the whole frickin' 9 yards. Now, if you had God qualities, which he never shuts off, he never shuts the fuck up. He never stops having an orgasm. He never stops having pain. He never stops releasing the pain. He is absolutely 100% himself, and the self is all loving all of this stuff. And the only part of the story I kind of doubt is is pain evil, or is evil not evil because without evil, and if pain is evil, then is that what drives the universe, the fear of pain and the fear of evil? Because it looks like you wouldn't have anything going on at all if you didn't have morons and little puppets running around that are trying to figure it all out and coming up with stories that actually covers up the truth or entices those, like Jesus said, why don't you follow me? I'll help you become fishers of men. And then that program kicks in, and there's like, oh my God, the problem I've had ever since I was a kid. I wanted to become like Mary Baker Eddy and Jesus combined. And I don't know much about Mother Mary, except she was the mother of God and nice statues and stuff. And I've seen it swing back and forth in cars, like a lucky rabbit's foot or something, But Jesus Christ. Where did this fucking program come? I want to be able to change water into wine when my friends are only half drunk and they want to get the rest of the way there. I want to be able to go to any kitchen faucet and say, bring the vessels so they may be filled. You know, build it up, you know.
Yeah.
Say, you guys ain't seen nothing yet. As the Son of God and the workers of miracles, I'll tell you what, this is going to blow your minds. Watch, bring the vessels.
Yeah.
Wow, Jesus, holy shit. Oh, that tastes just like what I wanted. Coors Light. And another guy grabs a dish and he goes, oh, yes, this is Guinness. Just what I wanted. Just like the guys, they were speaking every tongue so everybody could hear them in their own tongue.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a Bible passage. I checked that out with Rick, who's in the Bible big time. I like my big time into the Bible people because they're fun to talk to. Because it really doesn't matter what fucking belief you take, what kind of side you take, what position you take. The only thing that I know is love makes the trip. It makes the trip in what you need, like just like the spittle that Jesus had to bend down and make and put in the blind man's eyes, because if he didn't do that, they would have had their minds too blown. He hypnotized them for a second to believe that putting his spit, yeah, he put his what? He put his spit. He spit in the dirt like this. And since he was blind, everybody's going, well, the blind man doesn't know that he just spit and fucking the shit and he's putting it on his eyes. You know, he said, okay, well, what do you, hey, you can't blame a blind man. He's not sinning. He's not a pervert. He doesn't even know. Jesus didn't let him know, but he'd let us know that he made spit and dust and put it on there. And that's what they needed, because they couldn't accept the idea he would go, made whole. They could have. They had to stretch it out. There has to be a point where the human mind, there has to be a bridge involved in order to take somebody's mind from not totally melting down and going too far in the meltdown. There has to be a gradual realization of what happened. And then later you can go like me, what the fuck did they have to spit for? That's absurd. You know?
Right.
But now I see
Props.
it. In other words, you talk the level of the program that you perceive as the space, seeing your own program, get the feedback from the program that you are, and the space that you are says, well, you know what, you need to talk to them in this way, and there's nobody to say anything. It just comes out. It just comes out. Because the ego can hide the shit from itself. It can hide it from others, but it can't hide it from God. And if you're God realized, you're privy to the energy of God. And what you see is you're going to see God everywhere. And if you get your level of vibration high enough, you can perform miracles like Jesus, because there's nobody to perform miracles. There's just nobody to perform them. There's nothing in it for the ego. And sometimes God, in this story, picks certain people to wake up at certain times. And you could say, well, that's because they really wanted to wake up. Anybody's guess as to what, but I know in the Matrix, where we value stories and good and evil and bigger and better and shiny things and little rocks, can you imagine, could feed fucking 30,000 kids for a year? And some people are having them right here, right there. There it is. 30,000 kids could be saved from starvation by taking that little gem and saying, sell it. Why do they do that? Did you hear what I said?
Right.
Take a little gem,
Yeah.
and it's a rock.
Yeah.
Useful for nothing.
Yeah.
You could even
Yeah.
probably for 10 grand have a fake that looked exactly like the real thing. Take the real thing, go over here, sell it. So that some other asshole that's stupid and asleep can say, "Whoa." And what you get as a reward as an ego is you're a philanthropist, and it spreads it all over the news that you donated this gem to feed these kids. Well, if you get the ego out of it, you get rid of the stone, you sell it, and the food shows up, and nobody knows where it came from. It's a way to give.
Yeah.
Nothing in it for the ego.
Well, it's interesting because my friend Robert, when I spoke to him, he tried to give me some money. My friend had inherited the 51 million. He tried to give me some money, and I said no. And he argued with me. He says, "Is it your money?" And I said, "No." He says, "Is it my money?" And I said, no. He said, whose money is it? God's. He says, then don't worry about it. And he sent me a gift. So it was just like, all
Well,
right,
he got you on that one.
yeah, he did. And,
Did you see you're on the hot seat?
oh, yeah. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, the build-up is the billboard. When is the billboard changing again? Because I'm going to use that to conquer my fear of heights.
She's going to do it.
Okay.
Okay, but don't tell her. Here's what I'm doing.
Okay.
I'm going to suck her into all these jobs because I'm a smooth operator. We can tell her later. And I'm going to do this with each person. I'm going to find out what floats their boat. She's going to create a form, which you might have heard about. It's going to be a form that people fill out. And if they want to bullshit, that's fine. We love bullshit. But there'll be yes and no's and maybes and rating things on a scale of 1 to 10. And it's like an aptitude test or an intelligence test or all of that wrapped together in one that tells us where somebody thinks they're at, where they believe they're at. We'll get some of their beliefs because it'll just be questions you have to answer. You know, do you believe there's a higher power? Might be one, although it could be something else. Is there something? Did you create yourself? Who do you think you are? You get people that will fill out who they are. My name is so and so. I'm a gardener, or I'm a this, or I was a former thief, or I was all that shit. See, without telling them a fucking thing, they just fill the form out. Only the form is on a computer, and the computer's on the internet, and the form is on the internet. And then you entice the boys and girls to come in. You promise them something, which is the main thing that all the gurus have going for them. One of the main ploys is to say, you've got it. You just don't know it. You just need some help.
Right.
And what your job is to do as a guru is to smile even if you're sitting on a nice new set of hemorrhoids. And it's fucking driving you up the wall. You gotta look the part. You gotta be willing to sit up front, be noticed, put up the photographs, put up the shrine, because human beings love to worship shit, symbols. Mm-hmm. All that stuff is super important to them. I mean, would you actually listen to a bum in the street that looks like he's a bum, dresses like a bum, and he's God in disguise?
See, that's where I get my insights from. That's where I get my vision from, is where I least expect it. Like, it's the Grateful Dead singer in the verse. Sometimes you can get shown the light in the strangest of places if you look at it right.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the point.
Most people don't. They have to have it's like the idea of heaven as a description of golden streets.
Oh, yeah.
And anything physical at all.
If you go to some of those places, you're going to need fucking sunglasses. Yeah, wicked bad, because the light is always on and the streets are paved with gold and that reflection. Yeah. Oh, my
Statues
God.
on every corner.
Yeah, you got to, they issue sunglasses, I guess. You know?
That means the future's so bright, right?
But that's not my idea of heaven. Sorry.
Not at all.
Nah.
Well, I got to venture off for the night. So is the billboard changing tomorrow then? Because I would like to help.
I told her this. Here's what I told her.
Right.
Put up Once Upon a Time.
That's up.
Dot.
That's up. We did it today.
Then I laid it on her. I said, I'm just trying her out. I mean, I could have laid any number of things on her, but I'm trying to suck her in. What I'm sucking her into is developing and finding the stuff that she loves to do anyway. Right. Keeps her busy, keeps her doing what she loves to do. She said bookkeeping. The fact she took it means she likes bookkeeping. Great thing for a Virgo. Yeah. I hate bookkeeping. I don't need
What is your sign?
Libra.
You're a Libra.
The only one that is not an animal or a person in the zodiac. The scales, trying to balance everything.
I'm an Aries.
Yeah, that's why we get along so good, because opposites attract also. Okay, you're full of fire and I'm air, which means if you're fire and I'm air, the mixture together is like
yeah.
No, which is what I enjoy. Yeah. You know, I don't know if you fit Aries or not, but I mean, it seems.
Oh, I very much so.
You think so? Yeah. Yeah. No, that's fantastic. But I enjoy everybody. Don't get me wrong. I mean, there isn't anybody that I don't
you
see.
do have a way of making each person feel important in their person.
You think so?
I think so. I'm looking at my.
Well, ask my audience on.
I don't know about your audience on the house is a little different. I mean, so
Well-
I can see. I think the plan is working well. Nano's using my phone number now,
Oh, is she?
so she's calling me. Yep, and so I know when she actually wants to get together and whatnot, and she's using it, and that's been helpful the last couple of days. I'm looking forward to see what she has with the forms.
Yeah, well, with this attitude change, it's like, yeah, that's what it is. Fuck all the money. Fuck what you can give me. All that seems to be, it's like rental space or whatever. That's bullshit. I never wanted that. Let's go for the community. I don't know for what's going to happen day to day. I don't even know if I'll live tomorrow. I have no fucking clue.
Well, I'm pretty focused, I believe.
Yeah, no, I have no problems with you whatsoever. You have been a joy. A joy.
I don't get too hemmed up. I think my biggest distraction would be Virginia. I think from things.
Well, that's all right. You need
and
it.
That's okay,
you need it. Yeah, it's fine.
But it does keep me in check. Like you said, I get to see.
But at least, and the plants. I love that about you because now there are 2 points that you could check in and say, oh, Artie, by the way, I hate to ask you, but could you, take the laundry out of the washer for me? Not that I ever would. But in a family, and then somebody can say to me, get off your fucking lazy ass, Joel. You need to fucking exercise anyway. Stop trying to manipulate all of us here to make your life so much easier. What do you think, you're fucking king shit or what?
A guru is supposed to be served, aren't they? I mean, aren't they supposed to?
Well, I haven't taken that role yet. I'm thinking about it. I was thinking about how I could maneuver myself. I have a new robe coming.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, and I gotta find out about it because it would cost $53.
Oh yeah.
And I don't know why I bought it. Nano had given me that white robe, the bathrobe, but it was stolen from a hotel, which doesn't bother me a bit, but it should, right?
No.
I don't think so either.
I don't think they're going to come looking for you.
But I don't think it's good to encourage
the...
No, I don't know if she stole it. See, that I don't know. I don't know if she stole it. All I know is that it belongs to a hotel. So I guess the right thing to do would be to hunt it down on the internet and say to them, are you missing a bathrobe?
Yeah, you give it back to my.
That would make me a good citizen.
Yeah. That's why I never understood about people that would find lump sums of money and with no ID or anything, or any kind of. I remember being at a dead show and I saw some money on the ground and
turning in it lost and found.
I picked it up and there were people around me, a crowd of people, and I looked at how many bills and what bills were there. And I spoke up. I said, did anybody lose any money? And 7 people. And I was like, yeah, can you tell me what kind of bills they were, what denominations? And I managed to find the person that they knew exactly how many bills, what they were. And so I gave
Yeah, cool.
But it's funny how anybody lose any money.
Oh, that reminded me.
Everybody lost them.
I went out to Irving's truck stop, and I dropped $7. A woman didn't notice it, and she found it on the floor. And then I turned around and pretended to notice. And I said that, oh, I dropped that on the floor. So I did not. It was really cool to watch how it works. Try it. Go into a public place and drop some money. Now, the thing you could do is make sure that you're telling people what you're going to do before you do it, and it's on the recorder. And then you have it on a separate recorder so that you can record the whole thing. Go in and see what the reactions are like. If what you do is you just drop it next to your side. When you look around, glance, find out if anybody's looking at you, and when they're not, drop the money on the floor, and then wait and watch what happens. It's fascinating. We could do a whole program on that. I'd love to do that. I love Candid Camera. I would love to do that because every single person is going to have a different reaction. Yeah.
There might be some people say, no, I saw that man drop that money, even though you thought that they weren't seeing you. Every scenario is going to be different. And on Candid Camera, I know that some of those people, they were offered a standard release for the material because they couldn't go be on national TV without them signing off. Some of those people, I just know what happened. They said, oh, we caught this guy. Oh, this is so choice. This is like so many people. And the guy said to himself, oh, ha, 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 but wait a minute. I don't think I want that on national TV. I'm going to be the laughing stock of my neighborhood, okay, because they got an ego that they got to protect, okay, their image. So he says, well, I know that's the standard offer, but I want 10 times as much. The producer looks at the other one and goes, it's all scam money anyway. But you don't understand what the scam money anyway is until you can actually, I'll explain sometime in a workshop how the illusion of money works. And it's just like the illusion of the ego. The ego lives in a body, plays pretend, makes up roles, has to create badges and certificates and education, and all it is are human beings that are agreeing to a certain set way of conducting business with each other, and some of the boys and girls have got their hand in the pot itself. So as it comes in, they're greedy, they're grabby, they're controlling, they're murderous, they're not very nice, and we would call them people. But on another basis, you don't have to run into those people, and on another basis, all that is a lie that is wanting you to accept it. It does say in the good book, not that I'm religious, 5,000 will fall at your right side and 10,000 will fall at your left, but it won't come nigh to thee. It also talks about the household being protected, which means when you get 2 or more gathered in my name, and I don't care if you assign the symbol of Jesus, Buddha, whatever symbol is good for you that represents the pure Christ loving consciousness, which is the Holy Spirit, let's say, in this story. But if it's acknowledged, it can't help but have a protective influence all around. And then there has rules in the Bible about chastening each other according to loving chats. I don't want somebody butting into my business. Fuck you, you know. But loving, yeah. But if you get loving, then those kind of words like I don't want you butting into my business aren't going to happen, because you're going to be on a vibe level at that point. It's not a matter of dotting the I's, crossing the T's. It's not this or that. It's a combination of this and that. There's an acknowledgement of the spirit or the invisible space that all of this is taking place in. It's almost like space is the brain of God. It's the body of God. Okay? And the only way that you can really see it is to start denying this lower self that says, if I don't see it, I won't believe it. Because you'll be in for a real shock.
Yeah, you'll get shown.
You'll get shown. Yeah.
I'm going to bring these up, putting a bottle bin up there.
What we used to do is we used to collect them up, and when this was at an earlier time, collect them up, and then when we had enough, like 3 or 4 bags, we would cash them in and treat everybody to an outside barbecue.
Oh, that sounds good. Actually, I had a grill tonight out there.
That's what we used to have going. Whether it
everybody wants to throw together,
up, you know,
that's a good idea. I
see a lot of these things we'll discuss is how do we want to run the house.
Yeah, it's I did that for a while, communal bottles at the house, because we had Virginia's son, his friend living in Strong, and her and I, and there's 4 of us in the house, and other people would come in. Well, what we found happening is that it never ended up being a communal thing. Bottles would end up gone, and this one you want to get a beer or something. Yeah, so it got to the point where everybody was keeping their own bottles and whatnot. You have a good night, Joel. My phone will be on. I don't know if you need anything in the morning before I come back.
Well, if you check in every now and then, I'll
be
keep
back
that
by
in mind.
10.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't want you to feel like you have to check in all the time, but
Well, no, I don't mind checking it. I haven't had a lot of time to. I'm glad that Virginia's out there because I actually had a chance to come down.
Well, it actually keeps the cohesion together. It makes me feel as though
you actually, want to stay in touch and stuff. I think that would be good for all of us to stay in touch at least. There are days that, I just don't want to see anybody.
Yeah, I wait
I've been
for
up
you.
so long that it's time to sleep, and I'll sleep.
I usually wait for your call or Neil's call before I make a good choice to come down here.
Yeah, well, you have another option. You can call, and then if I see when you call and what time, like if you call at 10, I don't necessarily think you'll be around at 1, but I'm likely to feel as though, okay, well, Arden's up. That's why I've asked you at different times, and when you're not around, I just leave a message for you.
Yep.
So that's
Yeah.
just one more option.
Well, we seem to connect when we need to.
Exactly.
All right, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, take care.
Have a good night.
You too. Don't worry, I didn't forget about you. No. Oh. Oh. My God, what are you doing? Joel, you're not supposed to look. Oh, God almighty. Who would have guessed they were doing that? You guys see that? You guys see that? Holy shit. Damn. Since they put in this new system where we can see everybody, it's amazing. Oh my God. And the remotes that fly around the room like little bugs. Everybody knows that they started those. So those bugs that you've been killing lately aren't bugs. I mean, they are, but they're electronic. And as soon as you kill one, they're just like flies when you left the screen door open. Another one comes in. I mean, they make them so, they look like the real thing. They even squash like pretty much the real thing. Pretty much. Yeah, they built some really awesome technology. But it's so cool. Can you imagine being able to be in the Insiders Club like I am? And when they release the latest stuff, I mean, I can't wait. They say, Joel, you're going to be able to tune in and watch all the people in the room and see in the room, and then you'll be able to follow them long after the show is closed, and they won't have any clue, and we'll let you in on what we've been seeing for years. I mean, that's so exciting to find out what people are really made of, what they're hiding and how they actually act and behave. To look at how much facade that they actually put up, putting on, their best face, their best foot forward, whether it be a troll or whatever it is. They just don't want anybody to really know how their real interactions are going on. Yeah, it's awesome. And boy, it gives you some giggles too. I'll tell you, this is a shock. This is like the third time they've let me see some cams. And the unfortunate thing is I have to subscribe. So if I find one of you suckers that came into the room where they tracked you down and started flying in these little bugs into your house, which most everybody has them now. It's taken a while. They're really cheap. They're like computer chips. They're less than a dime a piece. And, like those greeting cards that they had there for a while that would sing you happy birthday and shit like that. You could record your own voice, and then when the card opened, you'd hear, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday. Anyway, yeah, It's an interesting world we live in, where everything is under electronic surveillance. And I don't mean everything as in everything like your stuff on your computers. I mean they can actually hear and see through your eyes now. Everybody's received a chip. They have an awesome delivery system. No more of that abduction by UFO shit where we erase your mind, you know, and make you forget about it. Because, you know, it's all made up of data and memories. We can plant memories in your mind that you never had. That's why you end up having dreams. We give you exactly what you need at any given time. If you're a bastard, we increase the heat on you for a while so you finally wake up, because nobody can take that as much pain as we can give you. Holy shit. Those of us that are in control of this matrix, okay, that are with God, you know, are God's little helpers. I mean, we're God's. Will you be consistent, Joel? Shut up. This is my story. So what if I fucked up that part? Oh, God. Might as well quit while you're ahead. Anyway, babble, babble, babble. Some people call it ranting. I don't give a fuck. If you don't like my ranting or babble, I mean, fuck, you should be even embarrassed to be even found in this fucking room, or even on the air listening to me. What are you, fucking idiots? But hey, as long as I have idiots that are clueless, I'm in business. Just like the gurus. They feed you a line of shit, say that you are it, but you just don't know it, and then you keep coming back to them because the guru has so many of you morons around him that it looks like that he's the one in authority. And he keeps spinning his bullshit. And you keep buying it. Why? It's not that works. It's like the chicken soup. The love in it works. Chicken soup is like the spittle. The reason why gurus seem to work and be inspiring is because a lot of people, they're suspending their judgment to get inspired. They're feeling the vibes, you morons. All you have to do is to learn to feel the vibes. Meditation? Anything can be meditation. Anything at all. You get into it totally. You have the powers of extreme focus, don't you? Or is your mind always chattering away, going, look this way, look that way. What about this? What about that? Blah, 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 blah. You wouldn't think that I could shut the fuck up, but you see, I'm an extremist. That's why I can come on here, and instead of slow speaking all around me, I can go from that one extreme of blah, 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 and then go to the other one, which is silence. Absolute silence. I mean, I could be in the room and I can just block it all out. It can drop away. The images can drop away. The sounds can drop away. Even though the sounds are still there, I can fade away right into the abyss. Are you in the abyss again, Joel? Joel, come out of there. What's the matter with you? Don't leave me out here. I have something you don't have. Oh, don't start. Jesus Christ. Hey, look. There's nothing new under the sun. The ego's tricky. The ego wants to suck you in somewhere. Yeah, I always take a position. I always keep at least 3 or 4 open. You know? Never mind I get called a hypocrite. Never mind I'm told that I speak out of both sides of my mouth. Never mind I say I'm full of love, and then I yell at you and tell you you're cheap motherfuckers and you should make a donation to thoughtbridges.com, you fucking idiots. You'll never raise any money that way. That's what you think. They're not all that stupid. If you see a brother's need or a sister's need, and the Holy Spirit tells you to fulfill that need, forget it. You don't need to. Let God do it. Reminds me of a joke about the guy where he lived in the river plain, you know, where it floods, the floodplain.
One day there was a flood. And it started coming by, and it was filling the river pretty fast. He was still on the floodplain. You know, it's like when the river fills up, it spreads out over its banks, and it's still like pretty flat ground and stuff, gradually going up from the river because a previous river dug that part out, and then it got smaller and smaller. Well, anyway, there's a lot of areas that don't get flooded right away, and that was one of these times. And somebody came by, he'd heard the weather report and said, you might be wanting to head to higher ground. He says, now God will protect me. So then the water was around the base of his house. Enough so, a motorboat could traverse it and go by. And the guy said, hey in there, come on out. We got a boat. The flood's supposed to rise another 30 feet. The guy said, no. Thanks anyway, but God will protect me. So then he's up on the roof. No, wait. He's up on the second story. You fucked that up. I know I fucked that up. Don't be so fucking critical. He's on the second floor. Everybody forgets shit sometimes. So what if I look like a fucking fool? Oh, stop your bitching about it. Just finish the goddamn joke, will you? All right. Leave me alone, fucker. Anyway, it was on the second floor, and then a more powerful motorboat, like a speedboat, because the current was really something. It was like shaking the house and shit. And even though it was shaking the house, they came by and they said, hey, come on, you got to get in on the boat here. You're going to be swept away. He says, no, I'm not going to be swept away. God's going to take care of me. Could you drag the joke out even longer? Some people have already heard this one. It's old as the hills. Shut up! Stay out of my broadcast. And so he gets up on the roof. And his house is holding all right. I mean, it's flowing with the water. The water is so fucking high. It's right up to the last bit, and he's like sitting on the chimney. And there's only about a foot of the roof showing. And a helicopter flies by with a ladder out. And it says, and the guy in the bullhorn says, hey, get on the ladder. And the guy says, no, never mind. God's going to take care of me. All right. So he's swept away and he dies. And he goes up to the pearly gates. And he says, what the fuck? I thought God was going to take care of me. And St. Peter said, well, as his spokesman, I got to tell you something. You're one stupid motherfucker, because God sent you the newscast. He sent you the rowboat. He sent you the motorboat. He sent you the fucking helicopter. What the fuck? You really are a fucking moron. And the moral of the story is, for 100 livetalkradio.com points, what's the moral of the story? Fuck, you're all fucking idiots. Jesus Christ, I don't even know why I waste my time with you. Hey, can't you take a joke?